Okay. Uh, So
Okay, so I'm gonna open the this thing. I hope it doesn't echo. Can we do it? Alright, I'm sure this will go now. How do I record it? Hey, so I muted everything. So for now, um, I might cut the YouTube live because the number of people joining is not up to the 100 and something. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Mm. Oh god. Yeah, I have to record the live. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I don't know if I have enough space on this thing. Let me just go ahead and teach. You can hear the audio now, right? What about now? Mm. Several. You can't see it. Why it's echoing? Because I just selected it. Can you hear now? Can you hear? You can't still hear. What about now? We'll talk about that. What about now? Is it working? Charge. It can work now. Good. So why is it recording too? It's already recording. Why is it recording too? My laptop will get full. Charge. Okay, let's go on. That's what I wanted to avoid. But if I mute this thing to mute the, if I reduce it to it cuts off the sound. So that means I have to mute from my side here. Like, can you still hear? I'm sharing my screen at the same time. God. People are connected.
And they can hear what you're saying?
Yes. No. Only those on YouTube. Alright, let's begin. I think I have to be managing how I'm going to be adding people and talking at the same time. Alright. So welcome to the class. What I'm trying to focus on in this class is like an introduction to videography, photography, and a bit of graphic design. But I'm looking at time and I'm a bit worried about the graphic design aspects, but let's see what we can do. There's a lot that we have to do in some few minutes, so bear with me. I hope you brought all your tools and apps because we are going to go really fast. All right, so let's start. If I'm speaking too fast or you don't understand anything, quickly alert me. And I would have to keep checking if more people have to join. All right, let's go. So we want to be able to learn how to take good pictures with our phone, how to shoot cinematic videos, and how to create professional looking designs, and then be able to work like someone who is a content creator, like professionally, not someone who's trying to create content online. Okay. I'm also trying to be on the YouTube, figuring the whole thing out at the same time, so forgive me if you hearing me start a bit. I'm trying to do two things at a time. Someone asked a question. Is it which tools and apps? Hold on, when we get to it, you would know what to do. Talking about the slides, we'll deal with that later. Give me a second. My dongle.
Connect the TV so you can have a split screen, so that it will help you.
Hey, do I have a dongle? I don't know the last time I used it. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, let's continue. So, no worry, anything that, for example, the slides, we'll talk about it in the group. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please, I don't know, let me know so that we know what to do in adding you. The tools and the apps we use, I already put it in the group. When we get to each one of them, we'll try to make it as practical as possible. So we get to each tool, we'll take a look at how best you can use that tool for that particular task, right? So when we get to it, and then we'll look at common mistakes that people do to make their work not look professional as well, right? So that's why we are here. Minimize this. Okay. So most people focus on the kind of gear they're trying to use to get their work done. But to me, it's about understanding how these tools work and how to take advantage of them. That is why I held this class. So if you're having a mobile phone or a laptop or a tablet, whatever device you're using, the best way to go about it is to understand the tools itself and to take advantage of it. So if you're using a phone, we should also know how the limits of our devices are. For example, if you're having an iPhone and your iPhone 16 compared to an Android, there's a difference between how your performance will be like, right? So you shouldn't expect the same result for the two devices, even though you can push as hard as possible. Uh, I'm hearing messages. Some people are still in the waiting room. Sorry. Okay. 1 second, please. All right. I should have added an extra person to be doing this. Forgive me. Okay. So I think I have more people coming in. Yeah. So I think the sharing of screens stopped for a second. So I'll get back to it. I'm trying to add another monitor to aid with the sharing of screen. Okay. So the whole idea is to be able to have your device, whatever device you're using, have match the power of whatever is out there. And we believe that is very, very possible. How is that possible? You have to just understand how the device works. Okay. I'm still admitting people. Okay. So can you guys hear me? I see someone saying the mic is not working. Okay, good. You can hear me. So let's. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be back. Admin and settings. I should extend. Huh? Ah, settings. General.
No, not this one. This is your video settings.
Eh.
The meeting settings. This video settings.
So how do I do the meeting settings?
Please close it. I'm not seeing properly because of this. It's supposed to be
This one.
this one. Meeting information. Have it open.
That's it. The only information is this.
How did you draw?
How did I do
Because
it?
as an admin, once you
Yeah.
please.
Open. Okay. Yeah, so I think I made it auto join now, so everybody can easily join. Still asking me to admit. Okay. All right. So let's continue. You don't need to turn on your camera for now. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. But before I do that, let me quickly give me a second. I will extend the time because the limit on the platform is an hour. We might do 2 hours. So we'll break, not for too long, just a 5 minutes, and we'll come back again. So let's try and push. If you're able to complete everything. So give me 1 second. Jesus. I'm supposed to extend this screen, right? What? Yeah, I change here and do extend display and put the PowerPoint there, right? Charlie.
No, you don't have to put the PowerPoint there. Where you're using it, you can put it there. But the YouTube side, you can put the YouTube side so you see how it looks. The browser you open.
The Prism thing. I can put the Prism here. Is that what you're saying?
The Prism and you can put it this side.
Okay, hold on.
And the browser. So you can see how it is.
Then
while this thing is here, you're sharing it.
Okay. You can actually still hear me, right?
Exactly. I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. Let me go back to it. And then I have my PowerPoint. It's still here. I should share a particular app. Window. Away. PowerPoint.
put the PowerPoint here and put it as what they call it.
Stable.
As a scene, I mean.
Train.
As a scene.
Train, I'll get confused. Hold on. Me who be a PowerPoint in the crowd?
My own is why is this not fully aligned?
I mean, I scaled it at some point. Hey. Oh God, my God. People are online waiting for me. I can't do this.
What are
Let me say,
I'm trying to make it.
forget and share entire screen. Screen 1. Share. Okay. Let's go on. Think of one. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah. So most people focus on the gear, as I said. We want to get rid of that. Whatever device you are using, please type it in the comment section to record actually. Let's see if you can get a firm grasp on whatever device you are using. So I use an iPhone 16. You can get a device such as this. I don't know if you can still see my video. A small camera like the action cameras that you have nowadays for your content. And the truth is, we've been able to understand how to use the tool is the reason why we are here. So let's quickly jump into that. Okay. Cool. So we want to be able to take good pictures, right? That's our focus here. To be able to do that, we have to understand our camera settings, how to composite the pictures, how to frame them, and then the lighting and the portrait and blah 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 blah. So we quickly go to our phone camera apps. Let's quickly open it. By default, I'll be using the iPhone, so most of the stuff I'll say, if it doesn't match with yours, just let me know. Okay, good. So we have an iPhone 14, Samsung Galaxy Jam. Alright. Okay. So basically, on your camera app, when you open it, you will notice that you have the zooms. That's one. Every camera has a zoom, no matter which device you're using, unless, I don't know. You have a flash button at the top, Samsung A16. We have the front camera and then the back camera. It is advised that most of the time our content is shot on the back camera, but it is not the full truth, because I've shot some video content on the full Redmi on the front camera and then it still works. You just have to learn how to utilize its power. Okay, so I see someone raise their hand. Eugenia, you can go ahead. You have a question? I should go on. I think you're allowed to open your microphone if you want to speak. Okay. All right. Or you can type it anyway. So basically, your camera would look something like this. I want to share use the iPhone, yes, so that you can all see. Okay, so the default camera app has the option for you to zoom, like I said, and each of these represents the camera lenses that you have at the back of your device. So the iPhone usually have 3. Now a lot of cameras are coming up, and each one of them have a different function. Unless you're using a fake phone where maybe they use something to cover it and create 3 ports, you will notice that each one of them have this lens inside if you take a look inside the camera. Any of them has a function that it does. So the reason why we have the zoom switch is that they didn't write times 4 times this thing in between is because it switches from one lens to the other. So the 3 lenses are the 1, the 0.5, and the 5. The 2 is between 24 and 50. Actually, it is the same lens that we have on our device that we are seeing, the 1, 2, 3. When it's switching between 1 and 2, it's the same lens. But the 0.5 is another lens, which is a wide angle. And then the 1 and the 2 is the same camera. And then we have the 5, which is very zoomed in. We'll do examples. So from time you would see that. These are options for compression and the resolution at which we are shooting at. The resolution is just how much the image is going to be packed into the photo after you are done shooting. So if you have a camera that gives you this option, you'll be able to switch between the 24 and 48 megapixels. And to be honest, if you are shooting for regular, you're not printing it out. I think the low resolution, the 24 is fine. Most phones are shooting 24. The resolution doesn't make the picture look quality. It just helps you to that when you zoom in or print it out, you have the quality that you need for maybe big billboards or bigger dimension printing. But we rely mostly on basic 24 megapixels for most photos on our phone devices because our devices are quite small and the resolutions are small. So if you are sharing photos with clients over phone, you don't have to raise it so high so that the client will think you are shooting high quality. Some are further format options. Some devices give you the ability to shoot HEIF is just a compression for iPhones. Some phones will allow you to shoot RAW, and on Android phones, you don't have to struggle with that. Your best is to just shoot with the options, the default options you have. You don't have to compress the image or anything like that. You just have to shoot the resolution at 24. If you want to go higher, mind you, your space is going to be crowded up very soon, and before you realize your phone is full. The options that we have in addition to the default camera is a flash. For iPhone, you have the live mode to shoot pictures that move. We have the timer. The timer is only used to someone's asking if the class is being recorded. I'm trying to do that. I don't know if it's being recorded correctly, but I'm trying to do that. If not, I have to record another session so that we can use that for later. We have the exposure settings, which is something that forces the camera to add brightness. So by default, when you open the default camera app, by default, the camera automatically does adjustment for you. The first thing you do when you want to shoot a picture or a subject is to tap on a section, and you notice this box appearing. So if there's a subject here and I tap on the subject, the box that appears tells you that the camera is adjusting automatically to the subject. When you press and you drag, I don't know if this, okay. When you drag up or down, you are forcing the camera to adjust the brightness, either adding to the brightness or darkening the image. You can try that. I don't know if you're using the same device to shoot or to watch this class, but you can try that. After you tap and you push down, it begins to darken the image, forcing the exposure to go down. If you tap and you hold, it locks to the area you're supposed to focus on, and it does that. So depending on the subject you're shooting, you can tap different areas to change which area the camera is to focus on and adjust to. And you can switch between the lenses you have at the back of your camera by tapping on the zoom buttons that we have down here. Let's continue. And then we have styles. Recently, the iPhone devices have this coloring that they add before you shoot, and that is known as the styles. You can switch between that. If you notice that your pictures are having a particular color continuously without you adding that, then it means it's coming from the options, that the styles when you bought the phone fresh. So I have a friend that is happening to when you buy the device the first time and you open it, it tries to ask you, do you want a style? And you select it, it will start affecting the images from that day onwards. It becomes a default. If you want to fix that, you have to go to your settings to be able to clear that. So if you switch between it, you'll notice that the colors keep changing. And then there's a standard one which has no color. Okay. We'll deal with that on a different. So Captain, please, you can type it because I think. Any question? Please type it quickly so I can move on. Okay, I'm not seeing any question. All right, so we use that to zoom and take different pictures. We use the styles to change how it's like color grading, how the pictures look before we actually edit them. And the aspect ratio is how the camera views or captures, because it can capture as the whole screen from top to bottom. It can capture 4:3, which is more like a cube, but not really a perfect cube. And the other aspect ratios, depending on what 1:1 is the actual cube. The 4:3 is like Instagram cube, and then the 16:9 is the full screen. And with that, each one of them can be shared on different platforms. So if you know that you're going to be posting on stories, usually 16:9 is the best aspect ratio to use. It captures the whole screen, and whatever you're capturing can be kept that way. And when you post, there's no need for you to zoom or crop. It fully fills the story area, then anyone can enjoy your content. So depending on what you're shooting at, I usually put it on 4:3, 4:3, and I can share it on my status without any problem. I can share it across many platforms without any problem. So I advise that you shoot 4:3 on most of your shots. 16:9, as I said, for stories. 1:1 is for Instagram, is cube. It's also for WhatsApp status, but without, you are limited on which areas you can focus on, especially if the subject is big. You are forced on the area you can shoot in. So you can see some of the images here, for instance, on the slide. Let me put this away. These ones are cubes, so this one can be something like 4:3 or 1:1. Okay. 4:3 or 1:1. This can be close to 16:9 because of the dimensions. All these photos were shot using the mobile phone. This was shot, I think, 4:3, and then this is more like 16:9. This is 4:3. This was 16:9. I've cropped it. So this is 4:3. So depending on whatever you're shooting at, maybe you must be able to switch between your aspect ratios, and that will put you in line with whatever you want to capture. So if you are capturing food, you can do 1:1 because of Instagram, or 4:3. If you're going to be shooting 16:9, it means you're going to share it on your stories, or maybe TikTok, for instance. You can shoot 16:9. Okay, now let's switch to the other apps. You can shoot pictures using this picture. What's the name? Okay, thanks so much. Godfred, are you saying something? Okay, so I don't know what Godfred is trying to say. The app is Snapseed, so we can look for Snapseed. This app also allows you to be able to take pictures. So you can edit and take pictures in the same app. If you press the camera, it opens up, and then with that, you can switch between these film. It's like styles, like how we had inside the camera app for what do you call it? The default camera app. I don't know how to call it again. So inside this, you get to control different effects. If you like, you can try it yourself. That's why I had you guys downloading, because I'm sure that trying to share it at the same time will be a bit difficult. So can you all hear me? I don't know if the sound is okay. You can't really hear. Wow. Okay, give me a second. Let me check. Maybe I'm using the wrong audio. Okay. It should be loud enough. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, great. Sorry about that. So I think we can go back to the slide. Where did my PowerPoint go? Okay, cool. Okay. You cannot see the PowerPoint, right? I think I made this thing disappear. Okay. Alright, so as I was saying, we want to use the if you want to use the app, you're allowed to switch between these by just tapping on the bottom area, and then you have different effects. It can shoot really awesome pictures. Let me show you an example. If only you have the right scene to shoot, you can have amazing pictures, and it has different effects that it gives. So I did an example. Where's this? Okay, cool. So black and white photos like these can be shot using that same app. If you're able to utilize the filters well, you get amazing shots. I mean, these were I was at an event and I shot these. Yeah, and they are mimicking what we call film looks. So the options you have here is not like maybe you're trying to let your camera be like a professional camera or something. You're just making it look like a film camera, and the film camera has its own taste, most in the noise, having black and white photos and stuff like that. So you can explore that after the class, or we'll have a session where we'll try to do practicals. We'll see if you can apply that there. Okay, so away from that, let's try another app. Lightroom and the lens distortion apps are not necessarily for taking pictures, they are for editing. So when we get to the editing part, which I think I have to get to do that quickly, we'll look at that. But before that, let me quickly go through some exposure settings so that we can get the concept of adjustments before we come back to the editing and the lighting and the rest. Okay. So the most basic thing you have to do whenever you come to take a picture is to take your lens and wipe it. Okay. So let me stop presenting and explain this part. Okay. So most of the time we take for granted how important it is to have a clean lens when we are taking pictures, but it's the most relevant thing you could ever do for your photos. You don't use any type of cloth to wipe your lens. You use a cloth that is soft, like what we use to clean spectacles, to be able to wipe it clean and to get off the dirt, or else you end up scratching the lenses all the time. You understand? So first of all, get a cloth that is clean, soft, and can clean off fingerprints. So you can see that usually when you are holding your camera in your hand, or your phone in your hand and you're utilizing it, your hand ends up touching it most of the time, and it becomes very blurred and like dirty. With that, every photo you take, if you forget, you end up with bad shots and some blurry stuff happening inside the lens. What you mostly have to do first is to get a clean cloth, very soft, like my shirt. I don't know if you can you will be able to feel it, so I don't know how you get it, but it should be soft and something that can quickly wipe off moisture, something that can absorb. If you have a handkerchief and you realize the handkerchief is that kind of handkerchief that's rubberish and it cannot wipe and suck, how do we call it? I think someone has raised their hand. Please, if you have a question, type it in the comment area so that we can quickly. Okay. I can't hear you for now, so if you can type in the area because of some setup I've done. Someone said the question is the iPhone 16. I didn't see the filter, so I wanted to ask if you can switch it or it's permanent. You can turn it off. So I had a friend, as I said, I had a friend who had the same problem in the beginning. He got excited, and when he bought the phone, she bought the phone and tapped on one of the styles, and whenever she takes a picture, the picture looks brownish, which is not good. Do not leave it on default. You can quickly also switch between the styles whenever you're shooting to bring it back to standard if you think it's disturbing you. Or you go to your settings, and inside your settings you can be able to change that setting and bring it back to the default. We'll do more of those in the, I think I have to attend to that maybe in the WhatsApp group later on. So first of all, you wipe your lens. Get a cloth that can easily wipe it, and when you wipe it, you see the difference between that. If you wipe it and it's still oily, that means the cloth is not good enough to do that. If you wipe it, you're supposed to see a clear, clean lens after, without anything being on it. I don't know if you can see that. It should be clean with nothing showing on that. Okay. And from there, go straight into your camera and you can take the pictures that you need. Okay, what else is on the slide? Do not scrub hard on your lenses or else you will scratch it. A permanent damage would destroy your camera and you would have to, I don't know, buy a new phone for that. Another tip is to use golden hour. Golden hour is between 5 in the morning, where the sun is not really up, shining, like burning, or in the evening when it's about to set. Around that time, you can stand anywhere and take a picture because the atmosphere is soft. The lighting coming in is very soft, and it does not have a direct harsh interaction with the surface of the whatever you're shooting, whether it's product or a human being. Whatever you're shooting has a soft light, because of that you can shoot at that time anywhere. Yes, if you can get a baby wipe, as long as it would not leave a stain on the lens, you can use a baby wipe to clean it. It will just wipe off and then dry, and from there you can take your pictures. So you can have something like that on you. Okay, so the Blackmagic app, we'll get to that. That's for the video side. Let's quickly go, and then from that we wipe the lens, we shoot. We are supposed to okay, use natural light because we do not have flashes. But if you're fortunate and you have this kind of video lights and things around you, it is the best. It can help you make your pictures the best by controlling 3 properties: quality, quantity, and direction. The quality, quantity, and direction deals with the amount of light coming in, the whiteness of the light. So it can be some lights look very warm, some light look very blue. The what we call white balance, and then finally the direction where it is coming from. The reason why we're able to shoot at the golden hour and we recommend it is because the direction of the light is being controlled at that time. It is not coming from one harsh angle, it's diffused. So around 5 p.m, if you're at any event, wedding, whatever, you want to take pictures, that's the best time to take the pictures without having any external flash coming in from any direction. If you're having the video lights or the flashlights too, the best is to shoot at a 45 degree of the subject. So if the person is standing, you stand on this angle and shoot from that angle, so that a person can be able to see and enjoy the, how do you call it, the lights coming in. Once again. Okay. So with that, we can have either we have multiple lights or we have one source of light. We are on budget, so we want to start with one source. One source, 45 degrees, quality. Make sure the light is white, or else your pictures will be either brownish or bluish. So that's the quality. So we shoot at golden hour, which is a little warm, and we shoot because the light is diffused. We shoot because the quantity that is coming in is controlled. Quantity, how strong should the light be? If you have a strobe light, depending on the environment you are in, you control the brightness by reducing and increasing it. We'll do more of that in the video section, so we can also control that too. And then another thing, you don't zoom with the camera unless you're able to switch from one to the other. We look at different types of zoom. If in between that you are trying to force your camera to shoot at 16 times zoom and your camera is only 3 and it is 1, 2 times and 5, you realize the 16 times zoom is what we call the digital zoom. Your camera would then try to force the look to be more digitalized, and with that there will be a lot of dots happening inside the picture, and that would affect how your camera looks like, your picture will look like. So the best thing is to shoot between 1 times, 2 times, 5 times. Whatever default zooms are available on the bottom of your screen, that is what you focus on and you shoot at. Don't try to zoom in between any other zooms. Your photos will be affected and the quality would come down. You have to learn how to use the grid lines. The grid lines is what we looked at earlier. So I'm going to share my screen again. To mirror my screen. Okay. So we can have these lines showing on your device to help you guide you where you are supposed to shoot. This is known as the grid lines. We can control this in the settings. If you go to your camera settings, you'll see that I'm trying to use, I should have brought an Android device along. So this is where you change the styles. If you do not want it, you can leave it on standard. If you're having any other styles affecting you, you can change it from that angle. And then where's the grid? This is the grid. You can turn it on and off here. But on the iPhone, you have only one type of grid and you can control it from this side. On other devices, you may have options for other grids, which is very beautiful. But most of the time, our focus will be on the basic grid. Why is that? This is because most of the time we shoot using what we call rule of thirds, having the image fall on this crossing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whether I orient it tall or flat, if I change the position to maybe landscape, I still have to shoot the subject in those particular areas, which is the 4 quadrants. This is known as the rule of thirds. So if it crosses that area, we can shoot within that particular box. So keep in mind. Or best still, your subject must come around this area. Put the subject in the middle. If it's an object you're shooting, you can put it right in the center of all the boxes. So these boxes are there to guide you. They are not there to make your screen look technical, but just for you to be able to place the subject well. So if you look at the examples I had in the slides, let's quickly go to the slide. The subjects were in different positions. For instance, this was right in the middle. So if I had a grid over here, you will notice that it will fall on this side. 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4. Let me see if I can draw on this. So it will go like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the person is now in the center area. The body is located in the middle here. If I want to position the subject in any other angle, I can have the subject come here. So for instance, in this particular one, I've cut some parts off, but if I was supposed to have it here, the subject will probably be around this quad area. Yeah, so you throw the subject to that section and then the person focuses on that. But with phone, we will mostly shoot in middle. Short and edited is the subject is right there in the dead center. Yeah. This was a group of people. I don't know. How do I get rid of the pen? It's a group of people. So that one, as simple as it is, you just center everybody. You can use the middle person as a way of centering them, and then you arrange it that way, and then it will fall in the center. You'll give enough space on the right, enough space on the left. So when you're giving your phone to your friend, you can tell them and use that as a way to guide them to focus you in the middle, or else you will take pictures and then you realize that your friend has shifted you to one side and the other side, and you have to crop in, and that starts to destroy the picture. Okay, so first you wipe, focus, you frame, you tap, and then it will focus on the subject. And you frame, you can easily get your photos then. So I'm gonna give us 5 minutes. Let us all try it out. Open your camera up, try using it to take a picture. Look at for the first time, take a look at the grade wall, and then take a picture of something that you have in your environment. 5 minutes. Everybody should try it, please, so that it will be more practical. Okay. Hello? Yes, sir. What about Meba? Jesus. The delivery guy is here. I don't know how I'm going to pay him because I have to pay him. Can you collect the things for me? Yeah, I have to pay him from here.
How do you pay?
Huh? Yeah. Let him. Ask him if the number he called me with is the number I'm supposed to send the Momo. Jesus, I'm confused right now. All right, we can continue. So we can quickly take a look. Let me see if we can. I don't know. Is it possible to share photos in the comment section? You can share some of the photos inside the. No, use the normal photo. Don't use portrait. Okay. Let's use the normal photo option. We'll get your portrait. So let me give you a tip here. This is the part where the class will become important to you. Those who are using the iPhone, the best option when you're shooting in portrait is to use the highest zoom that you have. This is because it gives a lot of compression, and the background will look more behind. And I don't have to explain it. It's technical, so that it becomes easier for you to understand. The background is brought closer to the subject, and the subject now looks more defined in the environment, which mimics the digital cameras that we have. So if you're using the portrait mode, even though the highest zoom that you have, which is not your hand you're using, let me share the screen and show you guys so that we can quickly take a look. Where is the app? The same number. Is there? Okay. Hold on. Guys, give me 1 minute. Yes. It's the same number. Or MTN. But his number is Vodafone. 020. Okay.
Let me confirm from you.
Okay. 100 and what? 8. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this. So when you go to the portrait mode, you swipe this side. I don't know. This is the highest zoom, times5. Don't use your hand to try to zoom in. You end up destroying the quality of the image you're shooting with. So times5. Hey, I've been talking without the mouth. Sorry. Put it on times5 here. Don't use your hand to zoom in beyond that. If yours is times4, put it on times4. The times2 and times1 don't give you that depth that you need. So use times5. That's the number.
Yeah, that's and it's 110.
Okay, 110. Jesus Christ.
That's the amount you call right?
No, at 108. 110.
That's what
Okay. So I'm trying to do with delivery guy. Give me a second. I'll get back to you guys. So for now, people are still saying they can't hear. 5 minutes, please. Jesus, I've scattered this whole. 110. Now me, what the crime was saying? Uh,
Instead of
no. Please do with him for me, I beg you. I'll deal with you after. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the break. Okay, let's continue. So we have the ×5 zoom. I think you should all try it now. If you are using Android, I've not really tried with Android, but I think Android now have portrait mode. You can try it. If you have a high zoom in the Android, please quickly put it on the highest. Don't literally try to zoom. Find out which of the zooms is the highest in the options that appear at the bottom. Like I said, we are switching between the lenses. So the main lens, the second lens, and the third lens. So when you're in the third lens, you don't need to switch to any studio or any contour or any of this weird stuff. Leave it on nature. I'm trying to be as simple as possible. Leave it on natural, and then try to move away from the subject. The further you are away from the subject, the easier it is for the camera to focus and zoom on the person. So you have to give a bit of a distance. Don't worry about it. After you take the picture, you notice the difference between that ×5 zoom and the regular ×1 zoom, and then it can improve on your quality. Most of the pictures that you see in the slide I shared here are pictures from, let me switch back to the PowerPoint. Where is it? Yeah, sorry. Pictures from, this is at ×5, this is ×5, this was regular zoom, this is ×5, this is probably ×5, ×5. The architecture building, this one was a regular zoom. I didn't need the portrait, so I shot normally. So you can think about it in the various formats. This is maybe group pictures, this is portrait, this is food photography, this is journalistic photography, and products. It was an earring. This is also products. Short chandelier in the ceiling. Yours can zoom, it's Samsung. Yeah, so you have to experiment with the portrait mode and find out which distance you can stand at. So push the subject. One of the tricks when I'm shooting is to push the subject away from the background a bit. Let there be a distance between you, the subject, the background, and the subject. So between that, you can be able to take the pictures properly and look for distances. If you are shooting your model, try and mostly shoot at huge distance. The depth adds to the image and makes the pictures beautiful. So if you want to go into professional shooting with your phone, when you go for events at weddings quickly, the same phone you're using, let the subject stand further away, put some portrait mode ×5, and shoot with the background, and the background will be blurred and the subject can now have that depth and will look amazing, like this photo right here, the reporting photo. There's a lot of distance in the background, so because of that, I am not worried about the zooming. The subjects come into focus, and then I am good, and it will look like a digital camera, a Canon camera or something that I use for the reporting. So if there are guests at your office or anywhere you work, or even at church, or if someone calls you for a side gig or something to come and help them with a project, you can shoot the photos on your camera device. So let me repeat the steps. You quickly open your phone, go to your default camera app. If you're using an iPhone, you can swap to the portrait mode. If you're using a Samsung, you can also put it in the portrait mode. Make sure you are using the highest zoom possible. If you're on an iPhone, switch between the 1 ×1 ×2 to the highest one you have. If yours is ×3 or ×2, that's the best your phone can get you at the moment. So you put it on that. Make sure your subject is in frame. You keep that distance between that subject and the background. Make sure there's enough space for you to see, and then you frame the subject in a way that, as I said, with a grid, so that you can see the subject falling either in the center of the grid, or it's falling at the cross hairs, what we call the lower third or the upper third. The crossing of the two lines forms the third, so the subject can fall in any of that. If the subject falls on the left hand side, like how I've shown inside the image here, if the subject falls looking towards the side, the head must probably fall around the top right area so that there be enough space in front of the subject. So if it falls in that area, there must be space here. If your subject looks on this side, the head or the position must be here and enough space in the front. We usually use the lower thirds to be able to shoot pet animals and stuff like that which are on the floor or on the bed or something that is lower, not standing. So you can't force the subject you're shooting who is standing to fall on the lower. It won't work unless you rotate the phone and then use any of the quadrants. Okay, let's move on. So we spoken about the camera settings. Let's go a bit deeper into the camera settings to see if we can improve on some of them quickly. So I'm gonna share my screen. If you are using an Android, try and see which areas match, right? So let's go to the settings, everyone. Okay, so my settings. Camera, scroll to camera, you notice all this. Settings, so adjustments, camera controls, blah blah blah. We put that aside. For now, we've already cleared the photographic styles. You can explore some of them. I usually put it on when I'm done taking a picture. I usually try the what do we call it? The other one, rose gold. This one. So it really works well on dark skin. It makes the skin look really like melanin, if you want to call it that way. So rose gold, I often switch to rose gold. You can try it with the photos, and it has a very beautiful color. If not, you can explore the other ones. Away from that, the rest are for videos, but let's mention it quickly so that when we get there, we know what to do. We have 720p, 1080p, and then 4K, 20 frames, 24 frames, 30 frames, and the rest. Basically, I would advise that you put it on 1080p, 30 frames per second, unless you have a lot of space on your device. If you don't, stay at the 1080p, else you record 1, 2, and your phone is full. They will advise for you to put it on 4K mostly, because they want you to see the quality. But when you are uploading online, most of the platforms that we have, they are all sharing 720p to 1080p videos. If you go on TikTok, we are shooting 1080p. If you go on Instagram, 1080p. So why would you force yourself to shoot 4K when you do not have the devices to support it? For instance, I can shoot on 4K because I have this device with me. So if I connect the SSD to my phone, all the recordings I'm doing will now go straight to the SSD without me struggling. So allow accessory SSD, and then all the videos will be saved right here into this. So my space will not be getting full quickly. So if you can afford an SSD, you can buy one and connect it with a new connection, Type-C connection. It's easier for you to just connect the SSD and work with. If not, that means you are trying to manage your space. Manage it by using your 1080p recordings, as long as you're able to get the light right. I said your light must come 45 degrees on your side, whether it's on the right or the left. And then you'll notice that a part of your face will be a bit dark, but the rest will be filled with light. So on your right, the light must be white. It mustn't be blue. It mustn't be, unless you intentionally want it to look that way, it mustn't be warm on your right hand side. Let's quickly look at it. There's another option. So the 30 frames is the usual frame rate at which we shoot at, or 24. If you go any higher, it means you want to be able to get slow motion happening in your footages. That is, either you're going to 120p or 60 frames per second. Some shoot at 24 and 30 because of how naturally it looks like, how we used to watch movies in the olden days, how it looks like on the screen. So it has this smooth and clean normal look. If you shoot at 60 frames, you get more frames being captured. That means that more pictures are in the video, and that your video will look extra sharp. Sort of. Not every eye that can see it. There's some small difference between the two. And with that, I want to as I said, slow motion, so that whenever you slow down your footage, you can be able to get enough slow motion happening. So if you are shooting something like a sports scene, you can have a 120 frames so that you can slow it down later on whenever you are in need of anything like editing a particular scene. So if you are shooting weddings and you have enough space, 120 frames most of the shots, because you end up at a later on you're editing that maybe some kissing happened, somebody was dancing, somebody jumped, some people were clapping. You might want to slow it down, so 120 frames would save your life with that. So you can shoot the whole wedding on 120 frames and later on come and edit and slow down certain portions, or you can be switching in between the frames whilst you are shooting. So as usual, camera settings, and then you can tap here to switch your, if you're on video. We are not in the video section, but you can see it right here. Switch the frames right there. Let's go back to the settings. So we can switch with these. As I said, 4K is okay if you have enough space. If you have 1 terabyte of space, you can record as much as you want. But if it's just simple videos, you are doing content, so we want to be able to put it online for people to enjoy. Let's shoot at 1080p. As simple as that. If you have space, 4K. If you don't, 1080. Don't shoot 720 because the quality is already low. If you put it through the software you're editing, it might end up reducing it further, and then you save space, but you lose the quality. So this is for, as I've written, power is for television. If you want your colors to match what you are seeing on your TVs and stuff like that, you put on. It's not necessary right now. This stabilization is very important. You put it on so that whenever you are moving around with your camera, the video does not shake. I'll play some videos down later, you'll notice. And for the photos too, when your hand is shaking or at an environment where you can be bumped into or something like that too. With this particular one, it helps you to shoot the photos without the blurriness happening in most of the shots. It tries to assist you with that. Okay. There's an action mode which the Apple recently released. I think, was it last year? Which is no longer recent. If you have someone who has very shaky hands, or it's meant for people with issues like so use the HD. If you have HD and 4K, use HD. If you want to shoot 4K, you can go ahead, but I said it will absorb all your space. So the action mode will help you to stabilize footages that are very much shaking. If you have someone with a disease or anything that the person's hand often shakes, so the person's trying to record and hand is like this, or maybe you are shivering or something like that, and you want to still be able to shoot, you can go to the settings and turn on the action mode. It will decrease the amount of light that allows it into the camera and all that, but that will help you stabilize the footages better. And then HDR video, that's for video aspects. So auto FPS, you can turn it on if you need the camera to help you with setting of what we mentioned earlier at the top here. Okay, the rest is, you can leave it as it is, because most of the time when you turn your camera, the last area is for white balance, which I've mentioned, brown or bluish or white. Most of the time when you're shooting, your camera does automatic settings for you. If I am able to go into the video side, we'll see more of the manual way of setting the white balance, but your camera does the work for you. So immediately you tap on the subject, it automatically does the adjustment, so you are safe. Yeah, I think this should be enough for the settings. I don't know if I missed. Let me take a look at it one more time. Yeah, the rest are, yeah, we done grade. We know how to use this composition, the level. The level is what we see when we try to rotate the camera. Let me quickly show this. The cross we see in the middle when you try to rotate. So if I push my phone, right now it's in the middle because my phone is lying flat on the table. If I try to rotate it, you notice that it's tilting around. It's like a spread level. It's helping you to identify if your phone is straight or it has tilted. Yeah. So you can lock the autofocus or you tap at another place. As I said, if you tap and hold, it will lock on a particular area, and with that, the focus on that particular area is what it will move with. So if you are too close to a subject, you notice this icon appear. This is telling you that you are shooting macro. So macro is when you are shooting details of a very small product, like what we see with this particular area. So let me show you an example of a macro shot. Zooming into the, like for example, this is an example. You can see the details of the, what do we call it? The grape, very up close, and the sweat on it. That's the water droplets showing. Your camera automatically adjusts to that. If you have an option to also manually do that, you can switch it to it. As long as you get close to the subject, it will pop up. If you turn it off, that means you do not want the camera to be shooting in macro. That's all you have to do, is just tap on it, and you can do that. Okay. So we are done with the aspect 2. Okay, let's move on. So in lighting, I would advise that if you want to be shooting properly, whenever you are at any scene for portrait, find the best position where the subject can be very well lit. The truth is that most of your photos are looking bad and they are not good because your environment and the light you're shooting in is not good enough. That is why we compensate at events by using flashlight. So if a photographer comes to a place and he is not using a camera that is like so strong and can work in dark areas, the pictures that they will shoot would not look nice. It will look either noisy or very blurred, and some of them don't even look attractive. If you want to be able to shoot in an environment where, if you want to shoot pictures that are so clean and so good, you would have to place yourself in an environment that has that kind of look. So for instance, you can look at this lady's photo that I shot here. I didn't use any flash. The environment had a lot of light coming from the ceiling, and it's an event center, so you can probably imagine. And with that, you easily go in, place the subject in a position where there's enough light coming from the side, the front, and the back, and then you are good to go. If you are not having enough of that, for example, in this particular shot, in this video, when I was shooting it, I didn't have enough light in my room. So what I did was to turn on one of my video lights and then get close to it and shoot. So you can see that it's glowing. Let me show you an example of what's this? If you go to the gallery session, once again, I think I saw some videos. Don't remember where I put the video. So you can see from the top here where the softbox is, and from that you can tell how it reflects on the glass and how it makes it look. As simple as that. So we have this light whenever you're shooting the product. First of all, the product must look aesthetically pleasing. If you're shooting a product, have things around it that will make it look interesting. That's why you must always form mood boards and pick from ideas from people who have set up such as this. So if I want to shoot yogurt, I can quickly go to any software, any browser I have, and go to something like Pinterest. And with Pinterest, all I have to search is for something like yogurt, like this, and then you see a lot of pictures, yogurt bowl aesthetic and stuff like this. So you keep in mind, okay, now that I've seen this, if I want to capture something like this, I don't sit in my house with simple fine yogurt and think it will look the same. It will never look the same. I need things to add to it to make it look like that. So first of all, I must get a container that is clean, beautiful. If I want to use a napkin that is attractive, clean, beautiful. So we are going pro, right? That means they have to have things that will go along with the pro. We must have maybe fruits in addition. You can get some of these, buy them, and add it to your picture. So it is not about having the best camera at that moment in time, but having the best product to shoot at. Let's go back to the slide. It wasn't because I had the best camera to shoot this subject. It was because that environment was conducive enough in the first place. So immediately I raise my camera and I know that I have to shoot portrait. The background will be blurred. I have to shoot maybe ×5. I give the person distance. I walk back. I let the person stand in the middle of the hall or an environment. I wipe my lens. I composite the person. I put the person in the middle. What else am I missing? yeah, I put on portrait mode, and then I shoot. Immediately the environment goes along with the image I'm shooting. It works. Same thing with the reporting image I did here. So we go on a trip. They want images for the trip as a form of a report. I put on ×5 zoom. I stand far away. Make sure that I frame them in a way that I'm coming in the what we call action line, an angle in which there's an action happening. So I put it in the position. I stand behind them, far away, as ×5 zoom. There's enough distance between them in the background. I snap the image. So they raise their hand, I'm done. That way it looks as if something is happening. I use the styles, I put it on black and white mode, I'm done. The picture looks like a reporting image. Same thing with this. This environment was not so bright, so I placed the subject in a way that there's light coming from the front of, there's a door with the light coming in, so it's coming from the front on this side. You can see it on the forehead area. It is glowing up because of the light source coming from the front. And then I shoot in portrait mode. Same thing with this. There's enough distance, so it's repeat. Wherever you are shooting, go through the steps. Have I wiped my lens? Is the subject framed well? Am I in the right setting? I mean, what mode am I in to shoot the picture? Am I in the right mode? And then finally, is the environment working with the image? If you're shooting at the place, the environment, the wall is dirty, this is not looking good, you know you can't edit at the moment, move the subject to another position where it looks good enough. If the street is not looking nice, let the subject stand at the place where there will be enough distance so that the street will be blurred. Don't let the subject lean on the wall, go and hold the flower, and you know those kind of poses. When you are leaning on the wall will come into focus, so it will not look as aesthetically pleasing as possible. Separate the subject from that wall. Let the subject come forward a bit, and you notice that it's looking lovely and amazing. I'll be using my photos as examples from time to time. Let me see if I can find another photo. So you notice most of the portraits I shoot are having distance. There's a lot of space between the subject and the background. We didn't go and stand next to the wall to shoot. We stood far away from it, and that will give you that look. Anything that you want to shoot at, you mimic. So if I want to shoot portrait, I go to how portrait. So that's a trick with most of the areas of photography you would want to shoot at. So distance between the background and the subject is there. You can see most of the pictures are blurred. They are blurred. They are blurred. So if imagine you want to shoot somebody and then you decide that you want to go into that area of photography, but you want to make sure that the subject is on the wall and stuff, you realize you struggle, and you be thinking, why are my images not looking as good as these images? They're not looking as good as them because you're not copying well. The style they are copying is a portrait style, but you are letting the subject lean on the wall. The lenses that they use, for instance, this one is a bit closer, this particular image is a bit close to the wall, but it's using a camera, and the camera has a way of forcing blurriness to the subject. We do not have that opportunity with phone cameras, so we usually bring the subject away so that you can easily add the blurriness, or else the picture will not look as good as. If you want to do street photography, same thing. So you go and see street photography. What do they have in here that I can borrow? So let's see. Subjects using elements like lower angle. So now we go to the grid. If I want to shoot this, I have to make sure that the subject is in the lower grid. Then when I cross it, and then it falls within the lower quadrant, like around here, like that. Same thing with this kind of shot. If I want to mimic it, either I go above, shoot in the streets, I frame in a way the subject falls in the middle, there's another element affecting the side, all those things. So you can actually shoot these things easily if you are able to get the concept from each photo that you are trying to copy. As simple as that. I mimic that same style inside some of my photos sometimes when I'm shooting. So you can take a look at this particular example. Okay. So one thing too you must also do is practice. Practice like crazy. You can see that I have a lot of photos inside my gallery. It's not because they are co-owners with me, but because sometimes I need that space. I need to use them as a form of practice. So yeah, you need to find a subject. You can see this particular shot is shot in some. The person is not really centered. There's a lot of space on the right hand side compared to the left. It is because I'm mimicking frames such as the one I showed before. Where is it? So you say you want to go professional, you have to start learning from the professionals. Have a lot of images that you use as reference. So this particular thing here is someone's, like, there's a pool and stuff that is blurred before the subject itself is on the left hand side. It's not the same, but it gives me that same concept, similar one, for me to mimic whenever I'm taking pictures. So my pictures will not look the same at all times. I could have just put her in the middle, like as usual, but I made sure that the person is. So this was the day where I cleaned it up. We'll try and see if we can do that before we close. And then put the subject on the right hand side. Okay. So I think we've done enough of this. Let's quickly run through the, how do you call it, adjustment settings, and then we'll go back to the practicals again. So I want us to understand this. We want to be professionals. That means that we must understand certain professional languages. Okay. Let's go back to this. So we must learn to use natural light. Natural lights are not against us, except when it is very sunny, and then you cannot stand in the sun and shoot your pictures, or you find a way to find a shade in which you shoot under. If you want to shoot in the sun, very hot sun, wait till the clouds come out a bit, then you quickly take a pictures. Or if your camera can handle it, you try to wait for it to come down a bit and shoot. Shooting directly in the sun will give you very harsh looking photos. So that's the quantity that we spoke about. Quantity, quality, and direction. And then when you place the subject in the sun, make sure that the sun falls either coming from the right angle or at least from the back. If you let the sun fall right on the face, the subject usually squints, and then the face will become like the person will not enjoy the photo. So you have to position the, we have something called Rembrandt light. If you talk about that, you can talk about that in other classes, but move the subject in a way that the light is not directly in the eye. That's one. The light is not directly from behind, so that the whole thing will cast a shadow. So it comes to the side a bit, not too much in the face. And then wait for when the cloud comes, or if you still think the sun is not too high or too hot, you can just go directly and shoot. The sun is usually white. You can't control the quality at that point. So you leave it as it is, and you are good to go. That is for photography. So we don't zoom digitally unless you are reporting. Now when you are far away, you don't want them to catch you, so you can zoom in. We switch between lenses, 1, 2, 5. That's it. If you try to zoom, that's what we call digital zoom in, and add noise to your pictures will not look quality. So switch between the three. If it doesn't work for you, you move closer to the subject or you move further away from the subject. Let's move on to the next thing. Yes, and you're allowed to take as many pictures as possible, like how our ladies do. Take many pictures and delete the ones that are not good. So you can see, for example, from the ones I shared earlier. Did I close the app again? I think I closed it. Okay, you will see more examples of that as we go on. You can see in my gallery, when I'm shooting the subject, I shoot a lot of photos. So for one particular pose, you can shoot like 6 times. And then from there, you pick the ones that are good enough for the subject to enjoy, or if the person is purchasing, for the subject to, or the client to utilize. Okay. Yeah. So that's that. Let's move on. I'll go back to the slides quickly. I want us to understand this so we can use it. In photography, we have something we call the exposure triangle. The same way we have quality, quantity, and direction for light, we have 3 guides for photos too: aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. When you get into more of video, we'll be forced to use this. when you get into more of a actual camera, you'll be forced to use this. That is where you see ISO, you see some numbers happening in the camera. All the numbers are doing is trying to change the aperture, shutter speed, and the ISO. Okay, but in the phone, you just have to tap and then we're done. The focus is done. The aperture is usually found here. Where's the app again? Did I close it again? Yeah, let's go to the camera app. If I tap on the subject, you see the F is for the aperture. If I tap on it, I can get to control the type of, let me tap on it again. Okay, yeah, so with that, it forces the camera to do the portrait. But if you switch to the actual portrait, you can control how much of the aperture, where is it? Second. Yeah, it's coming in. So this is it. The more you go lower, the more the background will blur. The higher you go, the higher the area of focus is. So if you are shooting at an aperture of 1.4, you have a very blurred background. The subject will be small area of focus. 4.0 is the natural and the normal area. If you go below that, you want more blurriness. If you go higher, you want more area in focus. So keep that in mind. And in our cameras, usually it's automatic. You tap, you put on portrait mode, you tap, and you're good to go. But if you want to manually do that, you can tap on it and change it. So the brightness, as I said, you tap, hold, slide down or up to increase or decrease the brightness. ISO, it's default on cameras. If you go to the video section, we will do with it. That is when we want to use the camera to force brightness into the system. The camera itself absorbs light. I think I'm on low battery. But if you want the digital camera to add light to your video, your clip, we use what we call the ISO. So the sensitivity of what we call the sensor inside the camera falls on the ISO. So at default it's at 100, which most cameras put it at. But if you want to add more, you can increase the number. Some cameras are very good when it comes to the ISO. You can add as much as you want and it won't have any noise. But with some cameras that are not good enough, immediately you increase the ISO level, the noise will start appearing in front of the picture. So you realize that when you shoot pictures in the night, there's a lot of this green stuff happening. That's what we call the noise. Give me a second, let me plug my laptop. Okay, good. So that is the ISO level. We'll deal with that in the video session. Aperture, as I just showed you, you can control that with a value from 4 to 1.0 and so on. And then we have that also in the video as well. The video is the same as a photo because videos are actually photos being shot in multiple sequences. If you arrange the photos and you move them, then they become a video. So whatever we are going to mimic inside the photo area, which is the aperture and the rest, we're going to do the same in the video. Shutter speed is how fast the camera shutter will pick the photo. And if it picks so fast, it means that it will absorb so much light. If it picks so slow, it absorbs very much light, so like a lot of light coming in. So depending on the camera settings you're using, whether for video or photo, you can be able to change that to fit the environment or whatever subject you're shooting at. But as I said, for photos inside our cameras, it's quite simple. Switch, tap, focus, push down or up, and the camera will automatically do all the 3 settings at the same time. It will adjust the ISO for you, to adjust the aperture for you, and adjust the shutter speed. As long as you are on the normal camera mode, you tap and you push up and down, it will do the rest of the work for you. But when you get to the video, you would have to understand this. That's why I'm explaining. So let's take a quick 5-minute break. Within the 5-minute break, try out whatever we've learned so far. We're about to jump into the area of videography, which is a lot. When we come back, I'll quickly take you through all the apps that I mentioned for the photography side, and then we would jump straight into video editing. So 5 minutes. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes. So what's the time? The time is, okay, what's this? It's 1:27. In 5 minutes, that's, do the math. We'll be back. Thank you. Hey, I'm not taking my medicine. I'm hungry. Oh God. People are watching on YouTube. Yes, 4 people watching.
I told you.
Those guys on YouTube, I beg you, I'm hungry. Alright, let's do this. Let me see if I can film it. Okay. Yeah, there's 5 people now. Okay. No. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They should pardon me. We'll get back to that. Where's my screen capture? It's under. So if I want to see it, I have to. Okay. See if I can fix this. Oh, it's moving something else.
Click on this one.
Okay. Let me click down. I move it up. I just push it up. Yeah. Oh, it won't fit because the resolution is different. Oh, I should just push it up to it.
The resolution is different.
It's okay.
Well, you can use something like a background.
But why is it still on Creatives? The first slide. It's capturing the screen from this side. Anna.
Is it not where you're doing?
But I'm not on that slide. I've changed that slide long time. And there's an error with that screen capture.
So what I'm saying is, you use this one to screen capture.
Mm.
Use this one to monitor. Now this screen will be going here. You'll see how it looks.
I think there's an error here. How do I fix this?
See if you can draw this. And if you share from this one,
We'll scale the whole thing. Okay, we'll leave it. I'll have to deal with this thing later. Let's go back.
so
Maybe 2 minutes for us to resume. Then record this whole session.
how do you click is this one right?
No, the lower one, the last one. I'm going to check on them before they start leaving the core.
How do you adjust? I need you to pull this one. Let this be on this edge.
That's it.
Then raise, hold it and hold it up. Adjust it to, no, not that place. This thing itself.
No, it's use an aspect ratio by force fixed.
Yeah, I know.
So
But now your screen is.
so I should push it this way.
Adjust.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Adjust this one.
Adjust, yeah.
To cut the lower part.
It's not really cutting.
Oh, okay.
So it's better.
Yeah, this is better. But still, it has frozen. Screen capture and I freeze it. I think because I'm doing multiple screen captures, that's the problem.
No, I don't think that's the reason. There's question mark here.
Click.
You did specific.
Source is unavailable.
You did specific. You did specific.
Yeah. So how can I?
So you need full screen. Delete and add new one.
Oh shit.
Capture screen. Let's see. See this. Bring them. What is display capture? Display is the full screen, right? Yeah. So is this one. This one is okay. Then change this one. Let's use the highest. Then
I sense it here. We'll record this screen rather.
so do you want to switch?
No, I'll let him capture on the other side. Good. It's scaled again.
So click on this
Sorry.
one. Now it's balanced.
There's still more there. Hey. 5 minutes in here, so. Let me bring this. The 5 people have come and see that and I'm gone. Okay, so this is better.
Then your this one. Enable this one.
It has to go under. And then turn off this image.
No.
I should scale it to the corner. It's not easy. Oh, because it's capturing. Okay, well, I'll put it in the corner.
Just reduce
It's okay. Thank you like that. I think it's better. I don't know if the YouTube thing will. Asamu. Let's resume. Okay, you're back. So 5-minute break over. Let's quickly move to the videography session. I mentioned how to do this, so let's hit the 3 applications: Snapseed, Lightroom, and the lens distortion. The lens distortion is an app meant for how do you call it, adding effect over photos. So for instance, I want to add, let's quickly do a demonstration. I don't know if everyone is back, but yeah. Let's do lens distortion. Shortcut is LD. Okay, so this is the app. So we can add different types of overlays in there. There's a limit to how far you can take it. Yeah, the limit is, if you want to pay, there are more options that you have inside. But if you don't, for the what do you call it, Android users, you have the ability to crack it. But for the normal users, you don't. You, for example, Apple users, you are forced to particularly buy it or get limited to how much overlays you can add. So let's take a look at an example of a project that I did. What projects can I use? So for instance, I don't know how quickly this will work, but yeah, inside the app you have all these options: the picture you want to use, and then you want to add music and stuff. These are added later. Wow, I think they've upgraded everything now. Hey, wait a second. Oh, sorry, I've already added layers, so that's why I can't edit it. Let's start from pictures from scratch so that everybody can follow. So if I pick a picture, pick a new random picture. Okay. So if I pick a picture like this, I can quickly go to whether I want to add a media or anything else on top of the picture. I can do that and then crop it, move it around. It's simple. The options are at the bottom here, but it saves in the form of layers. So for the free version, you have a limited amount of layers you can use. You can do normal, inverted. This is why we can do double exposure kind of photos. So if I do this, I can I scale it up? Can do different types of crops to the image. Can scale it up in format you want. So depending on what you shoot. For instance, let me do something proper with this. Let me bring in the same lady's photo. If you want to do double exposure, something different, maybe like this. So you just scale it up, put it next to her, and then you just change this. What's the name? Where is it? Let me go back. This one, yeah. From normal, the last option in the photos section, from normal to screen, and with screen you'll be able to see the subject overlay. There's multiply, there's overlays, and the rest. But do screen, it become like double exposure. You can go double exposure. You can reduce the opacity of the first image, or you can invert it. You can flip the image upside down. The rest of the options, I'm sure you can do with them. You can soften the edge, but that's if you want to explore the rest. If I take my time to explain this, we'll never finish. And then we have other things like text. You can write over it. So work here, and then change the different types of options you have. And you press it, and then place it on the subject. You can scale it down if there's a need for that. Scale it up. I'm using my laptop, so it's a bit weird. Okay, you can delete it. These are the layers. Whatever you do, it saves as a layer. So you can go into overlays and the rest. So designs, these are things you can put on top. The ones with the crown thing on it are the paid ones. You can use these as a form of how do you call it? Overlays for your distance. Necessary or necessary depend on the kind of photography you are into. These are the area that you need most. When you go to the lights, you can add these things to photos to make it look a certain way. If there's no light on your photo, up to, if you want to pay for it, you can actually pay for it. If you do not, try the free ones out, and then you can shift them around. Yeah, with these are the tools that you have at hand for you to get the best out of it. Be able to get references that will guide your eye, or else every time you add a lot of effect on a photo, and the photo will just become too much to handle, right? And that's it for the area. You can do overlays by adding extra things like this at the bottom of the other sections. And my favorite is a shimmer. I really like this. It gives an effect to my photos. Yeah. So that's for lens distortion. They are just for overlays. As simple as that. Let's go to another section, Lightroom. So Lightroom is one of the most interesting apps because it works both on the laptop and on the phone. This is where you get to add the colors to your pictures. So if I start with an ordinary picture like this, and I open the image, the preset I shared is for this particular app. So if you're in the group, when I share the preset, you can quickly go to the preset section and select any of these to be able to change and add to your photo whatever color that you want to add. And there are a lot of them, so we have to take our time and look at this another time. But each one of them has its own effect that it does to the image. You can save your own too.
Okay, I found this on the web for how to take.
Hey Siri. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. That's it. So yeah, basically you can use a preset or manually go through these options. So we have the light, that's for the exposure, which we spoke about earlier. In the exposure, you get to increase the brightness with this particular one. The truth is, another truth, don't let anyone lie to you that you need these particular settings for each photo. Every photo has its own adjustment that you do so that the picture can look perfect. So what you have to do as a pro is to sit down, go through the options, and explore it one after the other. Make sure you go through the exposure. Exposure is just brightness, but if you get to push it up and down, you get to realize where it is affecting the photo over and over again till you get to understand. The contrast is how quickly the image changes from the brightest part to the darkest part. But if I say it this way, in your head it can be a lot of information, but until you sit down to do it, to see it for yourself, it will really help you. So I can reduce the contrast. All the dark portions and the bright portions are almost on the same level. So if I darken it, the dark portions and the bright portions are almost on the same level. If I increase the contrast, where it is bright becomes very bright, where it is dark becomes very dark quickly. So the change from the bright to the dark is known as a contrast, right? Highlights do the same thing. If I reduce the highlights, highlight is not the same. If I reduce the highlights, it targets the brightest portion of the image. So if you shoot an image that has very shiny parts, let's say the forehead area, I can reduce the highlight by pulling down on that. See that the brightness on that section begins to go down. If I do the same on the opposite side, it begins to increase the brightness on that particular section of the image. So depending on how you want the image to look like, you go through the settings and move each one accordingly. Shadows is for dark portions. For instance, let me zoom out. See the dark area around here or even around the hair. If I begin to open the shadows, you are going to see more details in that particular area. So how far you push it is in your hands. At the same time, according to how you want to see the image is how far you push it. So most of the time, I begin first with auto. The camera automatically adjusts the areas that the app automatically adjusts the areas that it thinks I need. So when it's done and I go and see the image, wherever I want to adjust further, I can go through and then do that by pulling on the highlights and the shadows, the contrast, and the exposure. Exposure controls everything at once. But if you want to go into detail and change them one by one, that's when you go to the white and the shadows and all that. The white deals with a very, very, very bright part of the image. So if you shoot something like the white, this area where the sun is, if I pull on the white, it affects that side really high. And the very bright portions, not the some bright, very bright portions are affected by the white. The highlight does the same, but to an extent, not to the full white area. So if there's a sky, it will probably be in the white portion. If you look at what we have here as the curve, you will notice that this image is divided into one box, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if you see the box really well. The first box is in the shadow area. So anything I pull in here will start affecting the dark portion. The second box is in the blacks. The second box is in the shadows, right? The third box is in the white portions, the highlight areas. And the last box is for your white. The middle area is your mid exposure. So if I pull anything, it affects everyone. If I pull it down, it affects everyone. It's the same for the settings you have here. But this is easier to move. That's why we come in here to move the shadows, the blacks, and the highlights. Right. So someone asks that which one should I move? Depending on the image, that's when you select which to move. So let's see if you can find another image. So for instance, this image is very bright. I want to have darkness happening in the image to draw attention to maybe where the symbol is. I can just come in here and go to my light portion. Pull down the highlights. I don't want too much brightness. And increase the shadow. So I bring it down. The white too, I don't want too much of it. And then I increase the blacks. And I can go to other effects like what we call vignettes. Vignette adds darkness around the edges of the image and pull it in. And then I'll start having something like this. So now the attention has drawn to the middle from this to that. If I want to generally have the image well exposed, I don't need to go through this. I can just go to auto and the whole image now comes to life. I can turn off the vignette. The camera does the settings by itself. So depending on whatever effect you want to achieve at the moment, that is when we go through all these options by changing the blurriness and all these extra things. White, color is for color grading if you want to add extra colors. Blur, how much do you want to blur, and who are you blurring. So if there's a face, you can use the blur option, the vignettes and the details and all that kind of stuff. But most of our focus will be between here and here to get the image well adjusted and enough, like bright enough to share with the client. So I go in I change my exposure down to the shadows. Let's look for another image and do another example. Okay, once a random picture, let's go and bring a picture in. So in photography, especially in the editing area, we have what we call adjustments, correcting the image back to normal, and we have what we call color grading. Some people call it color grading. You can fine tune the image to have a particular look. So I can randomly pick any image at all. Let me pick. I want an image that's okay. These are almost all well adjusted, so it's difficult to. Okay, let me quickly pick any random image. I want something different. Okay. Now if I add, so first of all you press the add here device, you bring an image in, you can go to the Lightroom section, you see the photos on this side, and then you double tap on it and you can adjust it. As said, you can quickly go to auto and to do with it for you. But you can see some of the autos are not so good. The person is looking reddish and all that. So that's when you do the correction. So I can do auto and go in and correct certain portions. So I can bring back some light by using highlights. I can reduce the contrast because maybe I think it's too much, and open the exposure if it's not bright enough. Or I can just go to the shadows if I think the image is dark, and then try to see if I can open it up a bit. Open up the blacks a bit, and then go to the color area and go to what we call the white temperature, this one, and then see if we can adjust it ourselves. So this area is for the temperature. You go to blues or warms, and then you are correcting the white that we spoke about earlier on. So right now the picture is looking all reddish, so I can push a bit of blue into it by pushing to this side small, and then it ends up taking away some of the warmth. So without it, you see that's very warm. If I push it to the side, start getting a bit blue. So sometimes you can use the white in environment to check. So this, for instance, if you can tune your eyes more, you'll see that it's a bit brownish. If I start pulling towards the side, you're getting normal white. If I keep going, you're forcing it to become blue. So you can correct it small by pushing it to the side. And that's it. The rest, I'll leave for another class because I think we are losing time. We said 1 hour, but we have gone almost 2 hours. So yeah, basically adjust using these settings by trying to understand the image first. So I want more darkness inside the area, the shadow area. I just have to go to the shadow section and then darken it. Yes. Okay. If there are distracting things in the photo, usually because the app is paid, you have to use the paid version to be able to remove the distractions. That is where our limit will be. But if you are not, then it means you can manually do it yourself. If you are paid, you can manually do it yourself by just using this icon, the erase icon. Select whatever you want to clean, and then it will use the AI to clean it. It's an automatic something, so you don't have to do anything. It will load and then clean off whatever was there before. So before, now it's gone, and then it's cleaned up. Simple as that. So yeah, from here, if you want to export, you hit the app button and you give you the options. If you want to save a copy to the device, if you want to share directly to Instagram, you can press the share and then it will save a copy on your device or whatever platform you want to share it to. Yeah, if you want to add a frame to it, click on the shareable, this one, add a border, and it will add a border around it. You have the option to increase the thickness of the border or the color of the border, or even the aspect ratio of the border itself by switching between these. That is it for that. Okay, so we are trying to fuse a lot of things into one class, so mind you, I have to rush over certain things, but try and absorb as much as possible within that time. Okay, so we'll move on to another app. So the color grading here, That one, it's into your hand. It's a choice that you make. Color grading, basically, as I said, you can use the presets I shared, or you can decide to do it in your own manner. So away from the temperature, you have the option to color grade, right? So saturation is how much color you want within the photo. The increase it, the colors become deeper. If you reduce it, the colors fade away. So usually we leave it on default, or if you want to, for instance, have more color in a particular photo, you can decide to, for instance, if I'm shooting this and it's food, so I may want it to be more colored, I can crop into a particular section. I don't want the softbox to show, and then change the aspect ratio, sorry, like this, and then crop it in, and then do this. Now I want the thing to look very colorful, so I can just add a bit of color to it. So without the color, it will look more like this. With more color in it, I can have it this way. But we do not want to kill the photo by adding too much color, so we just up it a little bit, so you can look at it just a little bit to give it more of that feel, to make it look as if the colors of the product you're shooting were very high. Simple. Yeah. Or you can color grade it in a particular way by adding certain colors to the photo. So how do we do it? We go to grading section, and then we can add colors to the shadows, midtones, and the highlights. So the highlights are the brightest portion, as we said, the bright portions. So I can add maybe a particular color to the bright portion, so maybe bluish. Then I go to midtones, the middle portion of the colors. I can add maybe another color to that side. And then finally the shadows. I started with the shadows, sorry. Add a color to the shadows, and then the highlights. I can add a particular color to the bright portions. And then if I want to add a general color to the whole thing, that's the final circle that we see. The first one, shadows, midpoint, and the highlights. Final circle is when I want to add a color to the whole photo. That one, it doesn't matter whether it's a shadow portion or you just add a color over everything. So basically, this is what we call color grading. Adding colors to the photo, a well-adjusted photo, to have a feel or look. So let me turn this one back to normal. So let me bring it. From this, how it was before, it was raw, uncolored, and looking normal, to adding color, and then adding some other colors to make it look something like this. This is what we call color grading. The color grading itself is a whole course that you have to post a study on its own, because you can't just randomly add colors and it will always work. Sometimes it will look very bad, and sometimes it will look awesome. Like in this particular shot, you can see that this is not the original color, but it looks nice and still is pleasing to look at. Some people just randomly add colors. If you do that, your photos will not look as good as professional is supposed to look like. So for instance, this particular photo inside the presentation has, what is it, a color over it. I don't know if you can see it, but it has this weird color inside it. It is not the normal color, and it works because I work with the presets, like the ones I shared in the group. I reshare them again so that those who join late can have access to it. These colors are not the natural colors of the environment itself. This is the natural color, this is not. This has been colored a bit, this is not. This was normal. So with that, you have to learn how to use the preset. And installing the preset is quite simple. You save it there. Let me go back to the app. I think I'll do a tutorial for that particularly, and then I'll share it in the group so that we can take a look at that, so that everybody can follow one after the other. Because if I say I'm saying it now, you probably will miss it. Okay, so let's go continue. Now we'll jump straight into the other app, which is I think I've done Snapseed. Okay, we didn't use it to color, so Snapseed does basically the same as the, what do you call it, the Lightroom, but it has other features and it's free. That's why I like Snapseed. So anyone here who doesn't have the money to pay, Snapseed is the way to go. So if I open Snapseed and bring in a picture, I want a picture that is like, add a photo. You scroll, find an image that you want to bring in. I want a photo that has okay, let me just quickly randomly bring this in. Okay, there are a lot of tools down here. The basic ones are the one that they show immediately open. If you tap on tools, you see a whole lot of other stuff that you have to explore, refining and so on and so forth. I can use the healing tool to try and remove objects from the photo, and it does its best. But compared to Lightroom is a bit stronger because you use AI. This one does it in the software itself, so sometimes it's not so good. So you can try it. Healing, then you paint on whatever you want to remove, and it automatically tries to remove it. You can undo, and you can always change the brush size by zooming in and zooming out, or undo. Okay, so the tools are here. You can explore all of them. The one that we did in Lightroom is the adjust. When you swipe up and down, you will notice this options there. Brightness, contrast, the same thing. Saturation, ambience, highlights, shadows, and warmth. Warmth is the this thing we're talking about, white balance. So most of the time the picture is supposed to be white, not brownish, unless you want to add it as your own taste, or you want to add blue to it. Most of the time we stay in the middle. Unless you didn't shoot the picture well, then you correct it using the adjusting thing. Or, as I said, you can always do auto adjust for most of your photos. So automatically you press it, and then it will take over, look at the image, and then adjust it. Let me quickly plug my phone. Okay. Okay, good. Now, as I said, you can tap and change these settings before they discuss the settings, so you know what to do with them. You can do selective, which is inside. They are all inside the tools. If you press the tools, you see all of them one by one. I will urge you to do that, but I think I'll have to release a couple of videos for people to explore each of these options. But for now, if you want to get pro, make sure you do these things. Try them out, because if I explain and you see from my angle, you will understand, but it won't give you that full understanding that you need. If you want a full understanding, you have to open the app yourself, tap on each one of them and see what it does to the photo. This is one of my favorites, lens blur. I can move this around and blur any portion of the photo that I do not want in focus. So the circular one, the edges control the amount of blur that is coming in, right? So if I pick it up and I move it around, I can see which area is in focus and which area is blur. I can pull any section. I think because I'm using a mouse, it's limiting me a bit. You can control the size and how much you want the blurriness. You can control how it changes by pulling on the side. You can also control if you want it to darken the edge by increasing the vignette strength. Vignettes, before they dealt with it, so I don't need to explain again. You can change how the blur forms by selecting all these shapes, but it's the most necessary one is the circular one. I mean, these are playful shapes. Looks like a hat. Yes. Okay. So go through with them one by one. They are not difficult to understand. There are tutorials even inside some of these apps that can guide you themselves. But as I said, because of you being in the platform, from time to time I'll be sharing tutorials along the app so that we can get to utilize more of its power. But as I said, healing is one of the most useful tools you can get in this platform. You just slap it on the area you want to remove, and then whatever was there as a distracting element is removed. If I do not want the wires that were showing the shadow of the wires, I just pass it over it and it's gone. As simple as that. And then the color grading for this particular one. The reason I like Snapseed is because of this kind of effect. If you're into this kind of effect, you can make the picture look old, vintage, tell different stories, especially when you're doing documentaries and stuff like that. These will help you to be able to control how the image looks like. There are various types of frames that can help you to frame your photos. Double exposure, the one I mentioned before. If I pick the same image or even a different image, I can place it within it and make it look as if the photo had another person in it. If used wisely, they can achieve effects such as this. Exposure. Like this. All you have to do is to find the right photo, right composition, and then you're good to go. Okay, back to it. So the tools are there for you to explore. I hope I'm able to take you guys through later. Now I want us to jump to the videography because there's not enough time. There's more of us to explore, but there isn't enough time. Okay, so Snapseed, keep it as part of your apps that you explore after the class. Okay, let's go quickly to videography. This is where I wanted to focus most, because in content creation, the videos that we are going to create are going to be where we are going to post. We don't often post photos when it comes to contents, but videography is the most utilized part. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Okay, welcome to the videography section. I know most of you have dropped out by now. We have 39 people in class. The rest have run away. Okay. We repeat the same concepts from photography into videography. Just that there are extra things such as camera movement, cinematic angles, which is the same as the framing that we did. Where do I put the camera to get the best view? And then storytelling. As content creators, we must be able to identify how our stories can be told, and then we'll use the best framing to help us to capture them. So for instance, if you are someone who wants to tell a vlogging story, you have to get samples of vlogs to look at where they position their cameras in order to record them. Mine is to help you to get the best exposure, so that it can aid you moving forward in capturing the best moment. Because if I'm supposed to show you all the framing, we will suffer. We will not be able to finish this class. We would have to join other days, but we want to do one class and then have in the future paid class where we can take our time and visit each topic and thoroughly extinguish it. So for this class, I'm going to be hitting on certain areas, then you can quickly use that to move into whatever you want to capture. So whatever camera you're having, the best app you can utilize is the Blackmagic Cam. The Blackmagic Cam looks like this. When you open it, it comes straight like this. You have the option to change all these, like switching between the lenses. We'll take a look at that. I don't want us to jump straight into it. So we have this option here. So first, let's take a look at an example. I think this will help us too.
You know, let me tell you the truth. Sometimes it's not the kind of phone you're shooting.
At the end of the class, we want to be able to achieve
the wrong
something
environment
like
you're shooting in. That's one of the truths about this.
So let me explain. In explaining, it will help us to get a concept. So first, this is what we call a talking head video, right? A talking head video must have a subject framed in a way that he almost fills the whole camera. That's one. Two, you must have enough light around the subject so the person can be seen. The environment of the subject must be clear enough or aesthetically pleasing for it to aid the video. Don't go and sit at a place where it is distracting, because if you do, you lose focus of the video you are creating. You must find a place that is clean and clear. I intentionally placed a TV behind me to add sort of a unique look to the video that I was creating, so that people can be stopped. Like when they get to that video, they want to see what's going on. And I placed myself in that framing in order to capture most of me, because I'm the one talking. That's the first. I think the third. I've forgotten how much I have counted so far. So as I said, your light. Let's look at an example of the light. I'm coming. So some of you will be using ring lights such as this. I don't know if you guys are seeing the video. Are we seeing the video? Okay, good. Okay, good. So if you have a ring light like this, ring lights are meant to fill the face. That's one thing. So you realize that most of the time, everyone who shoots with this ring light ends up putting it in front of them directly this way. So it fills the face. That's why it's circular. It will fill the face with enough light so that you can see yourself clearly. If you are going to do a lot of talking head videos, makeup videos, I advise get a ring light if you want to start very cheap. If you want to go pro, you have to go with lighting setups such as the one I have above me, like these ones, the one that you get a stand, and it's in the form of a softbox, a stand, and a source of light. I wish I had another one to use as an example. Okay, I think I'll do more videos on that too. When you're able to have this at the 45 degrees I spoke about on my side, you raise it a bit and then let it fill on the side of your face. The closer it gets to your body, the softer it becomes. The further it goes away, the more it becomes a bit harsh, and then you start losing the quality that you want to capture. So first, if you have ring lights, get it centered on your face. Fine, let it fill your face. If you want to mimic what I'm doing with these kind of lights in an environment, maybe you want to do a talking head that looks more professional, blah, 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 you can try the 45-degree angle and let it come on that side like this, and then capture it coming this way. But the best and the easiest way to go around it is to just put it in the dead center. So you put it on, and then you control the settings that we have here, the aperture and the rest. Complementary. You have to get lights like these. You can get smaller ones or big ones, depending on your budget. Let me borrow this light to explain the concept. You can get light like this to add as an aid to your video. Is there power in this? Okay. Something like this can help your video for you to look more professional. So I don't know if you noticed in the video I was showing you, you can see that on this side there's some reddish color appearing over here.
You know, let me tell you the truth. Sometimes it's not the kind of phone you're shooting with, but the wrong environment you're shooting in. That's one of the truths about this content creation.
White light.
If you're not able to set up an environment that looks quite interesting,
so we have something we call
nobody's going to watch your content. Your content is not going to look,
if you want to go that's
as interesting as you think it is
professionally.
So it's not about the clarity of your phone or whatever device you're using.
If you don't have the money to buy the 3 sources of light, we can go with 2.
What do you have?
If you don't have the money to buy the 2,
in that
go with the 1.
that makes it
the complementary lights are what adds to your.
Think about it today.
I think it's making noise, right? Let me pause this. Okay. The complementary lights are what adds to the video to give it that kind of professional look. So as you can see, if I put this below on my leg right now, let's all focus on the video for the meantime. Let me stop sharing. Oh, you can still see. I don't know if you can see me, but good. If you have this below, you see how it has this effect that it gives you. If you put it on the side, it has this effect that it also gives. We switch the colors depending on the setup that you have. So you can get those RGB lights to help you with these things. So depending on the brand that you want to have, you can have blue in your shots, maybe in the corner of the room. There's a flower. All those things are aesthetics. Placed at the bottom of your video in the corner of the room. These things, you can get the cheapest ones. There's Chinese ones, so many of them. And if you're a small content creator, getting these simple, I think I had some small ones, square-ish ones, are the best ones to save you your money. The more you grow, the more you buy the most expensive ones. Start small, buy the cheapest ones. If you can get those strip lights, for example, if you can get one of them to help you, just buy it, put it in your room, and change the light to the color to any color that you use to complement your video. Depending on your room, use the light that will affect the video in a way that it is positive. Don't let the whole video be green because your wall is green, your color is green, everything is green. It will not look pleasant. So usually we do different colors to complement it. So maybe blue, I had red on, I had a green shirt on, I had a red light coming from this side, very subtle, not so strong, and my background is dark. How do you achieve that dark background? You turn off every light in the room. Turn on your lights, let it come on you alone. If it is spreading, we have different sources of light. These ones, they usually spread a lot because it's ring light, so it will just blast all over the place. You can't control it. So keep a distance between you and the background to help control that. Let it come at the 45 degrees, as I said, and then lower it and bring the light close to you. The dark background will become very dark. This one there, unless maybe I'm with you, or I set up alongside with you, or the best you can do is set up yourself. Explore the lighting, because if I show you the videos I did before I could get to this point, you'll be surprised. The first time I started setting up in my room, let me see if I can show you. Let's go to the Blackmagic app. Okay. I know we've taken long, but let's see if we can finish this quickly. So I started with a lot of different settings. I did one in a room where there was no enough light. I switched around, kept moving the light around, the colors, until I got to a point where I was now able to achieve the dark background inside the app, and then moving the softbox close to my face. You realize that at the beginning it wasn't like that. Everywhere was almost bright. Let me see if I can shift to, yeah. If you're unable to move the light properly, you end up with looks like this, which might not be the best. So in order to have the best, you'd have to have an idea of what you want to achieve. If it's someone's video you want to copy, and then start moving the light around. I use 3 sources of light. One behind me to cause the shoulder lights, the other one from the front on this side, and then another one by my left hand side, I think. Yeah, with the color coming in. So whatever color you pick, you put the light on your side and you are good to go. You can easily achieve this in any room at all. As long as you have the background clear enough, you have flowers, you can put them there. Set up, have a distance between you and the background. Lights 45 degrees on this side. Soft close to your face, lower it, the background can get dark. Make sure that any other external light is gone. If you don't have it, use your window. Make sure your room is dark enough. Open the window, sit in front of the window, directly in front of you, or let it come from the side if you want to do 45 degrees, and let that source of light come in. Find that window that has the sunshine or the brightness coming into the room. Turn off everything. You can close the curtains and open only that side to help you control the light in your room. Natural light can be utilized as long as you have the direction of it being controlled. So the direction, quality, quantity. Keep it in mind. Let's move on. So I'll push this aside. Let's look at okay. So let's talk about camera movements. Camera movements are very essential, especially depending on whatever field you are going into. There's a lot of fields, to be honest. You are doing a general thing, so I'm going to mention some of them. If you are doing events videography, you'll be forced to move the camera around. You can't station the camera at one place. So this is a talking head, so the camera is at one position always. I have my ring light, I put my camera on it, I'm done. Or I have my stand, I put my camera on it, I'm done. But if I'm doing an event, I'm shooting an event. So let's take a look at this example. If I'm shooting an event, I may be forced to move around. I have a okay. So for instance, I don't know if you are seeing this. This is an event. So whilst it's happening, I would have to move around to capture everything. And then in the end, I'll edit and cut some portions off. The first few seconds of your clip are always a mess. So keep that in mind. They are not so good. And maybe the last few seconds because of how you move the camera. But the rest of the clip, you have to walk around. This is what we call the ninja walk. You have to walk around in a way that it helps your camera to capture smoothly. So you pan to the left, pan to the right with slow walks. So you go slowly, hold the camera in a way, and then you walk gently, and then you move. You keep your hand steady. Unless you have a gimbal, you're supposed to use handheld options, which is stabilization within the camera, which we have already discussed. We turned it on in our settings, and then we moved around slowly. You hold the camera in this manner, and then you pan around slowly. Remember, you're not walking around like you're in your house like this. It won't work. You shooting an event and walking around the event center like this. It's not how professionals work. That's why you see them holding gimbals and cameras, and they'll be doing something like this and holding it and stabilize themselves. Not because they want to look all technical, but because they want to achieve a particular look. And in order for you to achieve that particular look, you would have to move in a particular way without the camera shaking so much. That is why there's a need for you to practice movements slowly. So if I want to move around the subject, I can just go slowly, just like that. So pan to the left, pan to the right, zoom in slowly, and zoom out slowly. So use both hands and be doing that kind of movement. You can rotate depending on whatever you're shooting at. Okay. I really wanted to show it with a big camera, but the delivery didn't come on time. That's what distracting us. So the next class we'll have a main camera showing everything so that we will be able to see, not from the front like this. So pardon me. Okay. What else? Let's go back to the slides. Good. So we'll look at the up, down the line. For now, let's move. So we've spoken about camera movements. Walk as a professional. Cinematic angles. There are many angles one can shoot at. You can shoot videos from the top of you, from the side, from the bottom. But the question is, how do I know, or where do I know when should I shoot this particular angle, or why should I shoot this particular angle? It depends on what you are shooting for. If you are shooting an event, you could shoot directly throughout the whole scene. You can shoot through someone's arm lying on a table or raised, all that kind of stuff, depending on the story you want to tell. So storytelling is the most important part of everything when it comes to videography. This is a talking head. I don't need to do much. I just need to show my face and talk directly. So I come in and then go straight into talking.
You know, let me tell you,
I don't need to do any camera movements. It's framed in a way that you get to see the subject fully.
The wrong environment you're shooting in.
I could have
That's
brought
one of
more
the truths
of
about this content creation.
if
you're not able to set up an
and then
environment
my
that
chest will now
looks
be a
quite
distraction.
interesting,
So I place the subject in a
nobody
way
is going to
that
watch your content.
it
Your content is
fits
not going to
TikTok.
look
At the same time, to have enough
as interesting as you
headroom,
think it is.
have enough
So it's not about
space
the
around
clarity of
subject,
your phone or
and the
whatever
subject
device you're
becomes a
using to record,
concentration because
but
it's filled.
what kind of
That's one
setup do you
aspect
have?
of it.
What do you
Because I'm shooting for the talking head. Let's look at another example. This is behind the scenes photo shoot. For this particular one, it's active. It needs to feel as if you were in an environment. Visualization will not if you're moving around, shape, you have to have a feel environment. You realize as I'm moving, the camera framings change from time to time because it is not supposed to be like a movie. It is supposed to make you feel like you were there. So one time I'm shooting directly on the subject, another time I'm shooting the camera I'm shooting with, another time I'm shooting from my back, another time I'm shooting. Why? Because I want to be able to whatever happens. Let's look at more example. This is a product shoot at an exhibition that I went to. I could have just passed by with a camera. I decided to shoot a zoom out kind of effect. with the product. Why? Because I'm revealing the effect to whoever is going to watch the video. So I do the review angle. There are multiple angles. Whenever you're watching any video somewhere, make sure you note them down, write them. We'll not have time to look at every one of them, but these are some of them. So this is another example. This is one known as a creative way of framing. So there was a mirror looking outside the building that we're in, and it drew my attention to it that this could be another form of framing. So when I'm adding this to the event, I can just quickly, this is like a we call that B-rolls. They are not the main shots. They come in when someone is talking or some beat is playing. We add that to give that feeling to the video. So this is a creative shot. We put the camera in a position where it frames another subject into that. We call it frame within frame. So we can look at more of that. So we're talking about stabilization, movement, framing, and then when we go to the editing, we'll deal with sound design and the pace at which each video goes is reliant on the story we are telling. If you go back to let me get back to this particular video here, you realize that the video is a lot very fast paced, like it's slowing down. The camera moving, the lens, everything is moving. Using that because of the scale selected. When this is a frame, it doesn't have any pace, it's just looking outside as a gentle, so we don't need to worry about ourselves about that. And then finally, we look at the style that we shoot at. These videos could have all been black and white, and it will work depending on what I want to shoot. If I want to shoot vintage stories, I can color all of them into black and white. If I want them to be very, very colorful, I can also do that by using the settings that we also have will be exposed to. And then explore. Explore means look at different people's projects and pick concept from them and add it to yours. Because, for example, let's look at content creator. Simple one like Khadija. Khadija is someone I often refer to because she passed through one of our training programs in the past. Khadija shoots environment. She shoots in a very raw environment. So her tone is more like, it tastes like documentary-ish kind of feel. And she'll move the camera from one position to another, shooting a tree, shooting a coal pot, shooting the stew or whatever she's cooking at that moment in different angles for you to feel and know what she's talking about. As simple as that. For you to be able to pick that, it cannot be taught in one class. It cannot be taught, it cannot be forced into your mind, but it is something that comes from either the environment you are in, exploring the environment, understanding, okay, I can shoot through the window. My window is like this. I like the burglar proof of my window. So if I stand outside and I dance and I shoot through the burglar proof, it will look as if the burglar proof will be blurred and I'll be in focus. It gives you an idea. I am not in your house to see the burglar proof, but because of the concept you have in mind or the idea you're exploring, it now has a different look more than compared to my video that I'll shoot in my house. If I want to also copy people's ideas, I can look at how whatever content creator is out there shot this particular video and try to mimic it in my environment. That means that I'm creating my own content using the concept I learned from someone else. That is exploration. You need to do that too. Okay. Now let me see if I missed something before I jump into the editing. Okay, let's look at the shooting radar. Okay, so we all jump into I wish we had the ability to do this thing. There's no time. We've lost a lot of time, so I'm gonna quickly jump into these things. So I'm gonna open the DaVinci app. We'll take a look at it all ourselves. Okay, let's go straight into the DaVinci app. The DaVinci app has the same options as the camera app and others. The DaVinci app is only necessary for you, especially for those who couldn't download it. It's only necessary for you when you want to manually control the exposure. We can easily take videos using the same camera app that we looked at before. The default camera app. You go to video section, and then the same options are here: your frame rate, your resolution, your how do you call it? Either you want to shoot colored or uncolored, we call it ProRes, and then RAW and all kind of stuff. The RAW is for the deeper level. I think we would look at that in other classes. Turn on flash if you want other exposure options or the action mode I spoke about. You can turn it on here. Okay, all are in there. If you want to expose, you tap on whatever you want to expose. You drag up and down to increase the exposure. If you want to lock, you press and lock it. Press hold, it will lock. Simple as that. All and the zooms, the different lenses are here. All these are already in your default app. You don't need the Blackmagic app. You only need it when you want to manually control everything. That is when you are going into the pro level. You have a very good camera. You want to get the other capabilities out of it by manually controlling everything. That is when we get into the Blackmagic app. How do I do that? First, you must learn each of the buttons, what they do. The lens option here helps, when you tap on it, helps you to switch between the first lens I mentioned, second lens, and the third lens. Why? Because my camera has 3 lenses at the back. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. If I go to the front camera, that one too, you can switch it. That is the one that you can use to record your face directly. If you do not have any way to be able to monitor your video whilst you are recording with the back camera, try using your front camera. Wipe the lens. Just wipe it nicely and soft. Make sure there's nothing in between there. If your protector is blocking it, it will give you a bad video. Make sure nothing is between you and that front lens or any other lens that you're having. Place it in a position that is remember the leveler we spoke about, the level thing. If you put it on your face and it has this thing moving anyhow, that means that it is not centered well. So if I have it straight like this line is supposed to be that color, and that way you see the color that is showing. That way I know the camera is straight. If I tilt it forward, the line disappears. If I tilt it backwards, it disappears. So having it straight like this will tell you that your camera is oriented in the right position, especially for talking head videos. If you lay it flat, it begins to have a different element like this. So make sure it's in the right position, especially when you're shooting food or anything like that. Position this way and you're good to go. Let's look at the Blackmagic itself clearly. Okay. And then we switch the apps, the icons. This one, 1, 2, 3 that you're seeing here is the same as the zoom we have here. 1, 2, 3. Simple. And then your front camera switch, which is the reverse thing we have here inside your video camera. You just tap on this and you reverse it. Okay. So Android people, whatever you are doing, just mimic it on the other side. I heard Android doesn't have the Blackmagic app, so in case you are getting confused. So front, what's the name of this? The first lens, second lens, the third lens. So 1, so zoom 1 is this, zoom 2 times 5, 0.5. Let's look at it. Oh, as a zoom. Sorry, I've turned the camera. Zoom 1, zoom 2, zoom 5, 0.5. Simple. So we switch between that to put on the best camera you need to shoot with. When you're shooting events, when you're shooting parties, when you're shooting content, and you are using the back camera, make sure you do not zoom in. These are the zooms. You can zoom in with these. If you zoom in, it's a digital zoom. The zoom you're supposed to use is switching between the lenses. We put it on the 24 or the 48 for portrait shots, simple portrait shots. If you're shooting from far away and you want to go deep or closer, you can use the 120. If you want a very wide shot, you can use the 13 lens. So, as I said, depending on the event or what you're shooting, you can switch between that. This was landscape shots using the app. All I had to do was put on the 50 and then take the subject close and further away from the whatever I'm trying to shoot. This is a lower angle because the subject was lower. You just go low. You don't stand on top and shoot the subject. I could have left I can even take the camera lower into the grass and left the camera face to be able to shoot the subject. This is wide. And you realize the camera movement here is quite steady. I pan to the right slowly. The first few seconds I said are always a waste. Yeah, so okay. I just want more examples to be able to explain. They all look the same, so yeah, we'll do more particles on another call. Okay, so we switch between the lenses to be able to capture. Simple. And then this is also what DaVinci does for exposure, like how your main camera does. If you press this exposure button here, this button, if you press on it and you shift the camera left and right, the screw left and right, it automatically does the adjustment. If you are not able to do this, you can use these particular options at the top here to manually change each of the settings that we mentioned before. We did aperture, we did ISO, and we did shutter speed. So you can change the shutter speed using this. You can change the ISO using this. You can change the frame rate using this. So we were talking about that too. And the white balance using this. Same settings, or you just tap on it and use the automatic one, which is this, to easily change the exposure. Another trick it also has is that you can tap on the auto button here and it will automatically be adjusting per the environment you put in. So if you leave the camera and you push it to another scene and the place is dark, the camera will automatically adjust. If you push it to a brighter scene, it will automatically adjust. So most of the time people like to put it on auto. You tap on the blue button here and automatically does the adjustment for you. You can tap on this tool to do the same thing. The second button is for focusing. If you tap on it, to automatically focus on whatever you put the subject to. So if I put the camera on you, it begins to adjust towards you. If I tap on the one at the person at the back, it quickly switches to that person and zooms and focuses on that person. So I will take into consideration the fact that you'll not be able to follow this. So I'll create more videos on TikTok and share on the pages, or even directly, privately on the page, so that you can get more examples to follow. Because right now it's dark, you cannot see what I'm talking about. So I'll do more videos so that I can share them. You can all see. And then this is also for extra focusing and other stuff. These are not necessary for content creation in the beginning. What matters is this and this guy, the two of them, the ones I have at the bottom here. This is for exposure, this is for focus. So you can manually change the focus if you want to, especially when the subject is in front or at the back. You want to switch to the one at the back, you use this option, you tap on it, it pops up, you scroll it up and down to focus on the back or what is in front of you. And that is that. So in Blackmagic, the app allows you to record raw so that you can edit later. That is, your camera will now look like how it shoots on these digital cameras. But that means that you have more work to do. So that means we have to go into the area of color grading. We'll do that in another class. But for now, leave your camera as it is. When you go to the settings, you can go to resolution, change it to 4K or 1080p, as we've spoken about. Your photos are in HEVC, which is a conversion that we spoke about early in the beginning. Or you can shoot in Apple ProRes or 8.264. 8.264 is just MP4. If you don't know MP4 is just normal video recording. And then you can shoot at a high bit rate or a low bit rate, depending on the space you have and how much you want the color or the quality of your video to be like. So 36, it should be okay for everybody. Or 27. If you go low, you are losing the quality. The maximum is 54. The more you shoot with 54, the more of your space is being taken away. As I said, you always have the option to get an SSD to connect to your device. So get something as simple as this. Attach it to the back of your device. Connect it via the USB. And immediately I put this into my phone. You'll notice that if I go to the camera use another one. Sorry. Good. So if I attach this to it, if I ask if I want to allow it, and then I'll quickly, it will appear here. So the icon will change from, it will change from camera. Let me remove it so I see the difference. We change from this phone, which has a limit, to how much space it has. I'm left with only 4 gigabytes. So it will list it right here, 2% to record 4 gigabytes. But if I want more space, I can connect the SSD, external hard disk, to it. And then the space will change. Give it a second. Yeah. Now I have 16%, 312 gigabytes to record. That way I can record my 4K without being worried about enough space or not enough space. You get it? Okay. So you see that because it's on auto, the ISO keeps changing, and then the white balance also keeps changing. The shutter speed also will keep changing. Everything will change along with you as long as you move your camera around. Okay. What else? Yeah. So this area will not go there because we do not need a lot at the moment. But if we were supposed to shoot in RAW, like I was showing you earlier, where we go to the color space, after the codec, we go to this one. We've already done it. We go to the color space. We'll see Rec 709 Apple log. Apple log is a RAW. Rec 709 is the colored. If you're able to shoot in Rec 709, you are good to go to use the video straight from the camera. If you shoot in RAW, you must color grade. We'll have to do that class in another time because we've used almost 2 hours. And the rest, you can leave them on default. Don't need to worry yourself about this right now. The extra thing you can do is to get an audio recording device like this to help you. So if you get one of these, depending on the one that you buy, you connect it directly to the phone through Bluetooth, or if you have a space, you're not using an SSD, you can connect it at the bottom to your device to be able to utilize it. Okay. So I shot a couple of events using the SSD. So immediately I connect it, it begins to show the footage. Okay. So yeah, basically that's it for the app. I want you to take your time and explore it. I'll be creating video content concerning this. So if you have any question, you can put it in the group. We'll do more of this. We must be able to take our footages, put it in the software, and tell the story. So we realize that no, you don't have to always shoot with a Blackmagic app. If you are using an Android phone, as I said, you can use the main camera to get the footages, as long as you're able to change the exposure, right? So you can tap on it and then lock it. Someone's asking if you can get a record. I'll try and see if I can get you the recording for the meeting so we can all benefit from it. You can tap and lock the focus. You can tap on it to change the exposure. You can drag it up and down to change this. Everything that you need to do is already in the default. But the more control you want, the more you have to get into the Blackmagic app. That's it. So there are other things inside the Blackmagic app that we will do in the future if we get a chance to get into more of the course. So I would break the course down into areas so that we can take our time and do each area very, very deeply. We can get more into audio, we can get more into video editing, we can get more into photo. Then we do practicals one after the other. That one, each person in the class would submit their photo as we are going on. So if you take a picture, we'll go do it together. If you are taking a food picture or a product picture, we'll all bring a product to the class. We'll point the camera at it, we'll take a shot, we'll take our time, edit that particular shot to get to a particular point. Then we can move. Because there's no time and we want to do a lot within that particular class, we cannot hit everything. Okay. So first you must get a story. you go for an event. Let me give you a tip here so that we can all benefit from this class. Get apps like Insta360 app. Let me do another example so that you see it. I usually do this a lot. When I go for an event and I'm tired, and then the client is asking for, I think I closed the app. The client is asking for the videos almost immediately. You can use shortcuts like this. So there's an app called Insta360 that I use to edit photos in a hurry. I didn't add that because I'm sure most of you will complain of your space. So I didn't add it. It's Insta360. It has AI features that is free. Anybody can use it. So I come in here. I think I have to re-log in. Okay. So I think the app updated. So with this, I can go to edit section here and do auto edit and get any clip I have, select them together, and the camera will automatically do the editing on my behalf. So let's, I don't know if you can do an example, but these are some of the projects that I've been able to do with it. And these were not done by me. I just shot the clips because I have a story in mind. The auto edit put this together.
Hey, my right, I'm looking left.
So it will crop sessions off, it will cut,
Unfortunately,
do the editing, put it together, and then you're good. So this is a shortcut for those who use it. All you have to do, let's do an example, is to go to auto edit. Because the clips are from one particular scene, so let's take this event for instance. I went for this event 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's pick this 6 videos as an example, right? I press next, and then these files are online. Give me a second. I think I have to use local files. So I can go to album, and go to recent and pick videos. So directly from my phone. Let's see if I can find an event. I don't know if I have an event now. Okay, randomly pick any video. So whatever you see, just pretend that it makes sense, okay? Because I'm mixing a couple of stuff. Okay, so I press next, and then this one's also in the cloud. Okay, wanted simple videos for this.
You didn't clear the initial ones.
Okay, let's see if I can find the most recent ones. Okay, I'm just going to pick any random videos so that we can benefit. Okay. Oh, not in the cloud.
I always.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why it's acting like this. Okay, so okay, let's do it one more time. Where is it? I think I picked, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 6. Good. So it automatically does the analyzing online by itself. Then it will apply effect, whatever it needs to do. And when it gets to 100,
and I don't know what to do. I try to stay occupied. I try to put it all aside. I try. Still it's no use.
That you like. So you select each one, it will adjust the video. And then it will even add music under it. So this is not a part of the class, it's just a bonus. So for those who often go for events and you come back and you have a lot of videos you can't edit, you're overwhelmed, and it's becoming too much for you to deal with. Oh, sorry. it becomes too much for you to deal with, then you can use this option. So I can, give me a second. Video. Okay, so yeah, you can select from all these templates to be able to create. And then if you want to even edit it further, you can go in and edit it by, let me see, editing clip by clicking here. And then you can go ahead. If you want to go to, you can rearrange the clips. I can make this one forward, this one, so this will play before this one can play before that. You can arrange it. And then if you want to change the music, you can go here, pick any music, they are all free, and then select whichever one you want. If you want to go further, you can also add any filter that you want on top of the video. These are all free, except the paid ones. And then you can also go to more edits. So go to more edits means you are coming now manually into the editing software to be able to shift things around yourself. Yeah. So this is a bonus app. You can explore that. But for now, the name of the app is Insta360. Insta360. Did I close it? Okay. Is this app? You see it in the Play Store. DJI has a similar app. DJI's own is called Lightcut. Where is it? This is Lightcut. Yeah, that's similar. Whatever footage you have, you just go into one tab edit in the bottom here. Select the videos. Let's pick random videos. How do I scroll? I'm using my laptop, so I don't know how to scroll. Okay. Let's pick 5. Same clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5. And I press next. It automatically do the adjusted by itself. So whether it's an event or wherever you go to. It's automatically.
Chained to rhythm and blues, forgetting your name with every move. I'm broken, but all I wanna do is dance through it, dance.
So depending on the clips, that's when you get to see how people particular event here. So an example is what we have in the slide. And then we can look at the manual editing. So framing is the most important thing in the whole clip. Remember, there's fencing. Could you show them? Mr. Could you show them? Is that him? There was a guy in the one of these popular YouTubers. The food guy. And we have oh, I showed more videos. Oh, I've already passed that section. Oh yeah. And then we have the what's the name of this app? This is this is Premiere Pro, and this one is the VN editor. Let's take a look at them and see how we can utilize their power. Those ones are the manual ones. So you must have a story, something that can introduce a clip. So for me, when I was going for the event, I started with how do we call it? The entrance. We started with the entrance. We show people coming in, then we show the event, the gates that they're shooting, and the rest is sample clips from the event itself. So you can pick from different clips. Let's look at Premiere Pro. So let's go back. Yeah, so another bonus app that we could use is the Make2 app, the one I showed you guys in the group. Make2. I don't know if I've deleted it here. You can also use that for editing. But this has some like ads and stuff, but it has extra features inside that is really, really, really beneficial if you're able to learn how to use it properly, right? So the reason why I don't like CapCut is because of the limitations that it gives you. Sometimes you come out of it and then it's as if you have to kind of beg them to be able to use the video itself. You click exports, then it will not be working. So the apps are Insta360, Lightcut, and then the final one, Meitu. So the Meitu has a lot of effects inside which are free. That's why I like it. So those who of you like to smoothen your face and stuff like that, you can check up this particular app, especially for the females. Go to the filters, add certain colors over your videos instead of going to the long route of. So the ones with the diamond are the paid ones. The payment is actually quite cheap if you want. So the video now looks a little bit shiny. I don't know why I picked this video. Let me change it. Something more like sometimes, yeah. Cool. Get rid of this one. You can delete it by selecting the video clip and delete it. Cool. So something like this. So remember the camera movements. It's essential here. I don't know. Is there a sound in the video? I can't hear it myself. Let me mute it so we can focus on the clip as well. Okay. Okay. So this is an example. You can cut off the ending. As I always say, your endings are not always going to be the best. Just cut it off. You trim off the beginning by hitting on the clip and just trim it off. So you select it and then hit on the edge and pull like this. You trim off the beginning, a bit of it off, and then you trim off the ending with the same manner. If you want to slip the picture, you can cut it into pieces using this split tool over here, cut. And I have two different clips. You can apply an effect for each clip by going through the adjustments. I think with adjustments by now you should all understand how it works: brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, and the rest. Alright, so that's it. Now we can go to the effects, filters. Applying different filters, you can give it different looks. So the basic ones, one with the other diamonds are the free ones. You can try them out. So depending on the story you want to tell, then you select the one that you need. So the Meitu is a very good app for that. You can also do retouching. So depending on the face. So let me get closer. Did I get to her face? I need a clip that is more on the face. So we can do retouching by pressing auto and then selecting the one that you need. You can, especially for the ladies, those who like to use it. You can see the difference between how sometimes good, sometimes too strong. You can control that. So it automatically adds, and because it was made for Chinese people, usually adds a bit of brightness on the face. So you have to be careful which one you use. So you can go through these, or you can manually do the retouching yourself. Select the face. So retouch, select the face, and then you can adjust the weight and all that. So with this, I have to take another time to explain. I don't think we have enough time for everything. But yeah, auto is there, so always press on auto and explore the auto. This is alright. That's for the Meitu app. So get a story, get a captured project, and then arrange it in a way that it can fit your story. So Premiere Pro, I'm exposing you to the software. So Premiere Pro is another one. It can also help you. There are templates inside you can utilize for your clips, or you start a brand new project by selecting the clips that you need and importing them into the software. It has the same arrangement, photos and audios on the same line. You play them and You can add more clips by hitting videos, photo, and then bringing in any video clip that you have that you think can benefit. So I'm seeing something like this. This video is always available. Yeah, I don't take a lot of videos. Yeah, maybe this can come in next. And then it comes next to it like this. Okay. So we'll go further into this in future classes. But for now, this is Premiere Pro. I think we've exhausted all the time. I'm sorry, but this is it. VN should be the ultimate go-to for everyone here. So with that one, let me take my time and explain just a few things in it so that we can all benefit. So I have a project inside VN. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I went out with a friend, it's a combo, two friends, and then whilst we were going, I started to record some clips. So I bring them in, and then I just arrange them in a way that it tells the story from beginning to the end. First, you get an empty area. So you start a new project to take a look at an example. Hit the plus, new project, video based. Select the video that you want to import. Pick some, I want some random videos. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You import them, and then you trim them by selecting and cutting off the areas that are not necessary, like the ending here. I cut them off part of like this. Cut some part off like this. So this section here is for video. If I want to add music, I tap the top, select music I want to add, and I can add it to it, or I can go through the music that they have in their own clips, and you can download it and use it in your clip. So it comes onto the music line, simple as that. So this is the music line. You can trim it as you did with the video, or you can split it and add multiple audios. So we play. If you want to mute the video, you can have the audio from the video cut out by pressing this, and all that will be playing is the music from the top. If you want to add text, you just hit the T on the top here, and you can add a title, and you edit the title however you want it. So, and then the text that you want to add is entered here. That's it. Second. Okay, I think because I'm using my laptop on it, that's why it's not allowing me to edit. But I'm supposed to be able to enter the font, the text that you need by just tapping and then inputting the text itself. Or you change the fonts and the font style and all those extra details that you need right here. Okay. And then you move it around to fit wherever you need it to. This one already comes with the position, so, and a bit of animation, so it comes and disappears. You can make it very short by limiting it to this section. Okay. You play it, it goes. Simple as that. This is where you add other elements like photos and the stuff that I shared with you guys. So let's add an element in here. In fact, let me bring this in so that it will help all of us. Where did I save the element? I think I don't remember where I put this thing. Okay. Bring an element. want to add a flicker to this. Oh. Okay. Something like this can be a form of transition in between two videos, right? So we put it in the overlay session like this, and then we trim it by using the scissors split. I delete the other one I don't need, and in between the videos I can scale it up to just play, to move between one video to the other. So if I'm moving from here to here, I can just zoom in by swipe like this. So the once I share with you in the group, this is what it's meant for. So when you're playing the video, to get to the point, and it will do that simple transition. Sorry, let's do it again. As simple as that. Yeah. So the overlays I share with you were meant for these kind of things, from one place to another position, to another position, another position. Yeah, for transitions. Okay. So that's it for this software. We can do the adjustment as I said by just selecting the clip, and then you go into the filter or scroll on the bottom till you see adjust. Where's my adjust? Oh, have I selected the right clip? Okay, I think I have to go to the filter side. Okay. Yeah, so the adjust is here. So filter, adjust. You can do the exposure of the video and the rest right here. Same controls everywhere on all the apps. So have a story that you want to capture in a way that you want to follow, and then we can use that to capture it. Okay, we'll have time to do all these things. Because of time, you will not be able to do the graphic design, but you can check out Canva on your app, on your phone. Take your time. I'll do more videos on this and share online so that we can all follow. I'm sure most of you are tired by now. So yeah, we would discuss more into content strategy, storytelling, and build an audience in further classes, and how to create content exactly for these particular platforms like Reels and TikTok, and how to develop a portfolio as a professional. So this is an intro class just to expose us to these things. In the future, I'll be able to do product shoots with our classes. We'll be able to do mini documentaries. That will take our time and shoot from beginning to the end, so the person can benefit from it as fully as possible. We'll do social media campaigns where we'll take our time to launch maybe a product or something like that, so that we can understand how these things work. Personal brand content series, where we'll talk about how you can be a content creator fully by having something we call like a content calendar and other aspects to it, so that if you are creating content, you'll not get tired of creating the content. Like you post today, Tuesday you don't know what to post, Wednesday you are lost, then you give up on the content creation. If you have a content calendar or a plan on how your content is all about, you'll be able to create content that follow, and you don't need to now fall back every time that you start creating content after 2 days. You'll be able to easily know that, okay, I can post on this. So if I'm teaching, I can do teaching content from beginning of the month to the end of the month by teaching maybe on phone, on camera, on laptop. With that, I always have content to also post, and then you can easily follow and create as much content as you need. We'll do that too. So what we can't cover is being able to go into camera settings, professional lighting setup, like as I was trying to show you. We can't go deep into that because we are limited on this particular platform. We'll do more editing workflows. That one we take our time, look at the softwares one by one, and learn how to do it. We learn how to attack client projects, do portfolio reviews, and then how to even price when you are called to come and do second camera with your phone, or even if you are called to be the main person for someone's wedding. We'll see if we can do a full course that will last for 12 weeks, that we can take our time to really enjoy, not like this fast-paced one that we just hit on the topics. And that we don't want to, I can be with you one-on-one. If you have any phone that you have particularly that we can utilize, how best you can use your phone, we can take our time to do that. We'll have live sessions, where you have a group focus on a particular. If you want to learn editing alone, that one we'll take a video. I'll show you an example. We take our time and edit that video in the softwares that I showed you. So away from here, you can start exploring. I'll share more content. But from here, if you want to have a personal class that we can take our time and do that, we'll do that in the future. So I'll be sharing links in the group where we take our time to look at such classes. And if there's a need, we'll do bonus classes where we have free sessions. We can also look at each and individual part and learn from that as well. And then we'll give assignments on these courses so that I can know how far you've grown. I'll get a platform. I'm working on a platform where we can each join, and then we'll be monitored on each assignment that we are given. If you submit it, you have someone to review the assignment, help guide you, and then you know what to do on that too. And then we have other people joining, like the community that we formed on the WhatsApp group. We'll be having more content being shared there and more resources shared as well. Thank you very much for coming for this training. I mean, it has been a lot of things. I hope you're able to learn something at least, and the time you had here wasn't wasted. The plan that we had in the beginning to have all this set up and all that couldn't come to life as we wanted to, but yeah, we've exposed everyone to much as we could, and I hope you'll be able to learn or try starting out your content creation from this angle. Yeah, so in the future we would be doing a lot more. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you all in the WhatsApp group, and I'll be sharing more of the content there, and then more of the resources for you to go with. Okay. If you have questions, you can put them up now, or we share them into the group for us to follow. I know it's been a lot. There's a whole lot of commotion to happening. Yeah. So we'll have another one. I've learned a lot from this myself, and we'll perform better on the next coming ones. If you have any question, let us have it. Okay. Thank you for the applause. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye. Oh, God. Jesus! I mean, I have to stop that one too.